D-Bell on air. Only the best in local music.
Do it live!
From DFW and beyond. D-Bell on air!
HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Monday afternoon. Monday, the 22nd of April, 2013. Look at us. We made it all the way to April 22nd, 2013. Crazy week last week. I'm like walking on eggshells today. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. We had a relatively quiet Sunday. Did we have a quiet Saturday? Did anything big happen on Saturday? Well, one hell of a week last week. I just have no idea what this week is going to bring. Hopefully, we'll get back to the monotony and mundane glories that each and every week brought before last week's run of adventure we experienced. Hey, Jedi, how are you? Jedi, as always, here at DeepElemonAir.com.
Man, I'm great.
Yeah.
It's Earth Day.
I was just going to say, I was going to throw it to you and say today may be April 22nd, 2013, but it is, in fact, what?
It's Earth Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more sound. You think it's coming? Is it not feeding from there much, or is it my end over here, maybe?
Yeah, you turn up in your headphones. So you're good.
No, that didn't work. No, I got nothing. Hold on. Jedi, tell everybody about Earth Day and what your big plans are for today. While I try and do that.
Yeah.
Did I turn you down?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, so that's the master. Hey, I found the master over here. I was just trying to turn me up.
There you go. You turned me up now. All right.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good now. Okay. Wow, I didn't realize how distracting it was to not be able to hear myself.
It's distracting.
Can you hear yourself now?
I hear myself
okay,
great
good.
now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's Earth Day. I am going to the Earth.
All right, now, what the hell is
Going
Earth
out to
Day?
nature.
Yeah, I know you're going out to nature. That sounds wonderful. Your pretty young girlfriend rolled out of bed and just walked in here and goes, "Are we doing that thing today?" I'm like, "What thing?" And it's Earth Day. So you guys are going to go out and you're going to go find some woods. You're going to, what are you going to do?
We're going to go
What are you going to do?
We're going to go hiking.
Hiking. What is hiking?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's you
I've long believed that hiking is nothing more than an excuse for people to get high outside. That's all hiking is.
No. Listen, there's some really cool trails. We're probably going to go out to Cedar Hill, or is that what we said?
Cedar Hill. Been out there. That's where a lot of the transmitters are for local radio here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah. So we're going to go out there. They have really nice
What's the
trails.
lake
We'll let
out
the
there?
dogs run out. I don't know. We actually only go to the trails. They have actual hiking trails.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a big lake.
Yeah, there
there.
is.
Is that where Joe Pool is?
Yes.
That's where Joe Pool Lake is?
Yeah,
or is that Lake Ray Hubbard? I get the lakes named after dudes confused. I know where Grapevine is, and I know where Lake Louisville is. And then there's one lake out in Garland. What lake is that? Rockwall? No, that's not a lake. Anyway, a lot of big lakes around here.
You know, Texas doesn't have any natural lakes.
I thought there was one.
Or yeah, I think there is.
Thought
Yeah,
there was like-
one. It's it's in East Texas.
But every
Caddo Lake is the only natural lake.
This is insane to me. When someone told me this for the first time about 10 years ago, because Texas has a huge lake culture. I mean, there are people that live for the lake on weekends. And every metropolitan area at least seems to have a fairly large lake. And in the case of Dallas-Fort Worth, we've got like 5 massive lakes. Now, I grew up on the Great Lakes, so when I think of like a massive lake, I think of Lake Michigan, but that's really not fair because that's not a lake, that's more of a sea. The Great Lakes are more of like a sea than like a lake. But these in Texas, these are the biggest lakes that we don't have any natural lakes in Illinois that are the size of Lake Louisville or Lake Grapevine or any. I mean, and they're all natural lakes up there, other than the Great Lakes, of course. But we don't have. So the lakes that are here, like Lake Louisville, like I remember flying in for the first time into Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and I remember looking down as the plane made its approach, heading over. You fly over Lake Grapevine, you fly over Lake Louisville, and they from an airplane, they look massive. I mean, Lake Louisville is huge from an airplane making its approach into DFW. When I found out that all of those lakes were man-made, it blew my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even realize that. A lot of native Texans, I've told them, they're like, what?
Lake Louisville is, I don't know how big it is. I mean, I guess you can Wikipedia that and find out how big it is, but I mean, I wouldn't know.
Well, what's the Lake Texoma is even bigger than Louisville.
Yeah, but is that a real lake or is that a fake one?
Yeah, I think it's fake too.
Lake Texoma?
Yeah, because it would be in Texas, so then there would have to be two.
I thought
natural.
it was in Texas and Oklahoma.
It is in the border, but it is still part of Texas. That's why.
Yeah, that's a
Texoma.
big ass lake too. That's a big ass lake.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's man-made as well.
So Earth Day is today.
Yeah,
what is Earth Day? I have no idea what this is. This to me is one of these hippie days.
No. Well, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess the hippies can embrace it.
Why do you think why do you think that's a bad thing?
Well,
I called it a hippie day, and you immediately thought that was a bad thing.
The same reason why you don't like to think any type of marijuana legalization is a bunch of stoners. Yeah. Because really, Earth Day is about environmental protection. That's something that every human being needs to get on board. We only have one Earth.
You don't believe that crap, do you?
What crap that we got to take care of our
warming?
Did I say anything about global? Listen, I believe that we as human beings need to take responsibility in our actions and be more healthier to our planet.
Yeah.
Be more conscious.
I agree.
In our actions.
I agree. What did I just see? I just saw something that kind of dealt in that. Oh, yeah. Last night, I bet you that this is why it was on. Because I didn't realize today was Earth Day.
Yeah, April 22nd.
Every
year.
Yesterday, for some reason, for about an hour in the middle of the day, I ended up watching. Oh, it was very early in the morning. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning on, like, I don't know, one of the cable channels. I was just flipping around. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Okay. Well, there's the original The Day the Earth Stood Still from the 1950s, which is an absolute classic of, like, you know, schlock sci-fi and all of that. They remade The Day the Earth Stood Still back in 2008, and I had no idea. I had no idea at all that they even remade it. It starred Keanu Reeves.
And, I did see that.
So I watched that yesterday, and I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, this isn't anything like The Day the Earth Stood Still. This is all about the environment. This is all about aliens coming down here not to attack us, but to warn us that, you know, our Earth is in its last run, and if we don't start trying to fix things. So it had a preachy message.
Yeah.
And as the preachy message was dawning on me, I went, oh, so this is why it didn't get a lot of, this is why, because I'm sure that people demonize the movie as being a tool of the Hollywood left and all that.
I can't fathom why anyone in their right mind would not want to do the right thing by our Earth. We only get one. Do you not care that your kids might not have the same quality of life that you had in our environment?
Let me tell you something about human beings. Human beings, you've heard me say it before, we are bad things. We are born bad. So taking things for granted, like the Earth, that's right up our alley.
What?
That is right up our alley. We get what we deserve. We get what we deserve with our government. We get what we deserve with our society. We get what we deserve with our Earth.
I disagree. If you look at how long we've been on this planet compared to just the time that now that you're really talking about, we've lived on this planet
A blink of an eye.
a lot longer and have been in harmony. Look at all the Indians. The Indians didn't do anything to the Earth. People lived in harmony with the planet, and I don't mean like harmony like kumbaya.
But those were in ancient times. That was before we had the Industrial Revolution.
Well, some say that there was a time on this planet when
okay, but we're not in that time, so you got to be realistic. That time is over. We have industry. That ain't going away.
So that's true, but that's no reason why we can't look at how people were able to live in a way where it was less invasive on our planet and adopt those ways in how we have our lifestyle now.
I heard an interesting.
There's plenty of people that live and don't have that aren't harming the planet right now. I, for instance, am one of them. There's a lot of stuff that I have done that is helping.
Well, I don't know. You contribute to all of the problems that we have. I will say this about you: this house is always dark, so you don't leave lights on when you're not using them. So you do sort of.
I don't waste water. I recycle.
Nah, yeah, it's hard to do this with you because you really are like a weird, like environmental guy. You know, you are.
I haven't always been that way, but it's just.
Yeah, yes, you have. Yes, you have. You went to college to be an architectural landscaper.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have always been very connected to the planet, but I haven't always been conscious in my action. I used to be like, recycle, that's gay. Why would I do that?
Yeah, you actually recycle.
Yeah.
Let's see, you got a whole garbage bin in there that you recycle. I don't know. I mean. Look,
you got to.
Genie is out of the bottle, as they say, okay? Whatever damages are going up. First of all, you have to decide whether or not you believe that the Industrial Revolution and all that has come since has done significant damage to our environment. You have to believe that, okay? There are a lot of people that don't believe that. There are people that don't believe... You know, from what I understand, and this is how did this become a political issue?
I don't either, because it's just about doing the right thing.
How did this become a political issue over taxing fluorocarbons and shit like that? This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Every scientist in the world that has conducted an independent study, and this is what's important, independent study. Every scientist in the world that has conducted an independent study comes back with the exact same results. And then there's a couple of scientists out there who work for the big major companies, the big polluters, the big carbon emitters. Those are the scientists that somehow they say that no, all the other scientists are wrong. The ones that are getting a paycheck from the people doing the damage are saying that there is no damage being done. The ones that are not getting a paycheck from the people doing the damage are going, hey, we got a problem here. I mean, it's just, you want to think people aren't stupid. And then you just see that layout. You can't connect the dots, really? Why? Because the Republican right-wing congressman you met at the Patriot Breakfast, he told you that global warming's a fraud? Come on, people. In global, I don't even know what the proper terminology is. Global warming. Are we still saying that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Here's the good news, though. I saw a guy the other day, and I don't know who this guy is, but he's some big noted scientist who was being interviewed. And they said, how much time do we have? You know, that's always the question they ask. And we don't have any time, was his answer. Because time has passed.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago. We blew right fucking past that. And nobody even mentioned it on the 10 o'clock news. But the time, that the limit where we were at, where we can't do any more, that's passed. We're 5 years. But he did say it's all reversible. It's so easily, naturally reversible. And it has to do with grazing lands, the way we graze our cattle, the way if we would adopt this new, and apparently this was, and I went and I looked at this. I looked the guy up online. I wish I had his name. I just can't go back in my history that far because it's like a week or so ago. But this is a real thing. It's about the cattle. The cattle used to be able to repair the environment. I don't know much about this. This is, again, I was just listening. And it's about the way the cattle graze. And as the cattle graze, they turn over the soil and they poop. And the poop fertilizes something that gives life to a plant, and that plant sucks out some of the carbons. And it's like if we would just go back to this certain way that we used to do it. And this had more to do with like industrial and corporate ranching and stuff like that. The way we used to do it, we could repair the environment because the animals and the earth as one would all work in conjunction and they would repair.
Exactly.
But we don't do that anymore. Exactly. They don't get to graze. They don't get to, they're in pens and they just.
And that's exactly my point. We don't have to not have electricity anymore, but we can do
certain things that can reverse it.
We can do things that our ancient people did.
So let's do that,
in conjunction with what we're doing.
Let's do that. Let's go and let's tell big cattle, big ranchers, and all of the local congressmen that those businessmen pay every election cycle to stay on their side. Let's see if they'll just willingly change the way they operate. at a loss of millions of dollars in the first couple of years, but it's for the betterment of the earth. Let's see if they'll do that.
Well,
they won't, and that's the problem.
You're right, but I think it's going to take something, life-changing before something really does happen where we start reversing these problems. For instance, something like
hasn't been
free energy. If we could get some kind of technology where it's free, clean energy, think about it. Think about how revolutionary.
Aren't you working on that cold fission idea, right? You in the back shed? Don't you got something that's going to revolutionize the power world?
Listening, no.
No, actually, and this is another thing that's sort of, look at me arguing out of two sides of my mouth. I'm a big fan of nuclear power. I think if we went back to nuclear power, we could solve a lot of these problems.
No.
Nuclear power was clean. We had an accident at 3 Mile Island. We'll fix that. Come on.
Have you seen the report a couple of days ago about China and their renewable energy that they're investing in?
And what is China doing?
Man,
but China's the biggest polluter on the planet.
And they're saying, hey man, let's do some stuff to fix this. I'll find the story here in a second, but they've invested billions and billions of dollars on clean energy, and in a few years, they're about to be done with needing outside resources in oil. That's fantastic.
I don't know what any of this means. I wish we had an expert, because all of this sounds, it's so above my pay grade. I don't know anything. All I know is that there's been a lot of really smart people for a lot of years now screaming at the top of their lungs that we need to start paying attention to this. I don't know, it doesn't seem like... But then again, nothing really bad has happened to us. You know what I mean? Like a giant sinkhole didn't eat Iowa. If that was to happen, if the entire state of Iowa was to suddenly just fall into the earth, then maybe people would go, something's wrong with the environment. Or maybe if we had 50 twisters, like a string of 50 twisters, just, we got to have some cataclysmic event. And I know that Superstorm Sandy was one of those, and I know that Katrina, they say, was another one. And so maybe that wouldn't do anything. Now that I think about it, we have had these cataclysmic weather events that nobody seems to... I mean, look, we don't react to anything. Tragedies happen to us as a people. And we get all somber and maudlin for about 3 days. And then we go right back to doing exactly the same. And we somehow justify it by saying, you can't stop us. We're just going to keep moving forward. We're going to go back to doing the same thing. Well, maybe we shouldn't. I mean, I'm talking about in all aspects of the way we do things. Not just the way we treat our environment.
No, I agree.
Foreign policy. A lot of bad things happen to us because of things that we're doing. And to completely ignore that there is a cause and effect relationship going on here is simply dooming yourself to relive it again and again and again and again. Now, we don't really have that big of a problem. I mean, here in Texas, what was the last weather incident that we had? We have some pretty bad weather, but we've had pretty bad weather every spring for the last 200 years that people have lived here.
Yeah, it's mainly droughts and fires, right?
I guess.
There was that fire last year in remember? It was
Yeah, in the summer, we get like really crazy heat. What would happen if we had a... See, I don't even know. I want to get off it. But happy Earth Day, everybody. Go out and kiss a flower. I don't know what to tell you.
No, don't kiss a flower. Go out and just
don't
think of things that you can do to be more environmentally conscious. And, little things help. If every person would even just start adopting, like for instance, that little bag that you brought your stuff in. Take those to the grocery store whenever you go to the grocery store.
My recyclable bag.
Yeah.
So that I do that.
Yeah, see?
I do that. Yeah, I changed. That was kind of a change that just suddenly one day I did. I stopped going to grocery stores and getting plastic bags.
Yeah, see? Little stuff like that helps.
There are still stores that will give you paper or plastic, right? I mean, they still do that.
Yeah, the Tom Thumb does it.
Yeah. What if all stores just stopped doing that?
I think it would be a huge impact.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though. You cannot, if people come in with 3 bags like this, and I'm holding a recyclable green, like they have them at World Market or whatever.
Yeah,
this one is Aldi. This one says Aldi on it. Yeah. Because they don't want to give you bags, so you bring your own. I bet you that at the corporate level, there's some concern that if you make people bring their own bags, they won't buy as much because they will bring, like I can bring 3 bags like this, and then I'll just buy enough that I can fill in these 3 bags. When if I didn't have these bags, I might buy 10 bags of plastic.
You know, a lot of stores will give you a discount when you bring those in.
Will they?
Yeah. You might not even know they're doing it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Well, okay, so that's what I do.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff people can do. So, yeah.
I drive a 4-cylinder tiny car that gets wicked cool gas mileage.
Yep.
So that's good.
By the way, Earth Day is celebrated in 192 countries and has been around for, it's 43 years old.
Hey!
So you're right. It did start in the 70s, so it did start by a bunch of hippies. But now it's time to take it serious because, geez, we really do. This is the only planet we have.
That explains it. You know, I was looking at Google, and for every day of significance, Google changes their logo.
It's a bunch of mountains.
Yeah, it's a bunch of mountains and some trees and stuff like that. All right, Earth Day. Let's learn a little bit about Earth Day. See, I remember being in school and being in a very progressive public school system back in the 1970s and 80s. And we always did little Earth Day things, but it seemed like we were the only people doing them. You know, like it wasn't a big deal. Like, and then it got to be a really big deal like a couple of years ago. And now it seems like nobody cares. And I didn't even know it was Earth Day. And I prepped like a mother every day. I didn't see anything that said anything about Earth Day today. Earth Day is an annual holiday celebrated on the 22nd of April on which events are held worldwide to demonstrate support for environmental protection. In 2013, the day is 43 years old and is now coordinated globally by the Earth Day Network. Yeah, some big corporation is now running this thing. And is celebrated in more than 192 countries. All right, where's the history? Let's see. Let's find out how this thing started. Results of Earth Day. I don't care about results of Earth Day. According to Nelson, the moniker Earth Day was an obvious and logical name. Yeah, that makes sense. Seems to make sense.
See the flag? It's in the right-hand corner. Let me go up a little bit.
There's no history. Where's the history? I want to know how it started. A couple dudes getting high in an apartment in Berkeley is how I imagine it started. But
well, right here, I don't know what you're looking at because mine says in the winter of 69-70, a group of students met at Columbia University to hear Dennis Hayes talk about his plans for Earth Day.
And I've got in 1969 at UNESCO conference in San Francisco, the date proposed is March 21st, 1970, the first day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. But how did it start? Like, whoa. I don't want to believe it started organically.
Well, according to my Wikipedia, it says it started by Dennis Hayes. Yeah. In the winter of 69.
Oh. That was Bryan Adams' follow-up to Summer of 69. I don't know if you know that. All right, well, happy Earth Day, everybody. I hope you're enjoying Earth Day. Let's take a look at the Facebook page. We do this each and every day. We like to see what you folks are talking about. I put up a list, usually around 10 o'clock in the morning. I say, hey, folks, what do you want to talk about today? Post your topics here, and you do so. Although today, it has degenerated into, I hate this. I said this the first time. This thread is only for things you would like to see me address. And I would like to keep it neat and clean in that thread with only things you want to hear us talk about, because it makes it easier for me to just glance down, read quickly, and then go into whatever my feelings are on the topic. When you start having conversations with one another in this thread, it completely throws off my ability to do the thread justice. For instance, I got some damn debate about who the best guitarist is of all time on the thread about topics you want to talk about.
Somebody's taking blame for it in the chat box.
Are they?
Yeah. I said, sorry, my bad.
That's all right. That's all right. John Hoffman would like me to address immigration reform. John Hoffman says, I'm not for total amnesty. It's too broad a spectrum. It would allow deported illegals back in, too. However, the Republican proposal is insane. Let them register, pay a fine. And pay. I don't care. I don't. This immigration thing, this is not to me, this is not a major issue. This is not something that we all need to be so concerned about.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have enough problems.
We've got way
right
bigger
now.
problems than worrying about Carlos in the kitchen at the restaurant you go to. This is ridiculous. This country would shut down if we got rid of all of the illegal immigrants. You would not enjoy dinner on Beltline tonight. You'll be serving yourself because there's not going to be anybody making you dinner if you kick out all the illegal aliens. Imagine all the dirty pools and uncut front yards and seriously, I mean, we do not give enough credit to the unbelievable immigrant population, illegal or otherwise. I don't have a problem with that. It's the American dream. We were set up so that people could come here and try and have a better life. Besides, we're all concentrating on Mexicans. Meanwhile, we got a couple of Chechens blowing up the Boston Marathon.
Right.
But they got in no problem. They got visas. Oh, no problem. It's the Mexicans we got to worry about. And that's all this immigration debate is about. Don't kid yourself that it's about Europeans coming over here or Canadians. This is about Mexicans. This is about white Americans not liking all the Mexicans coming across the border. It's not about immigration. It's not about some greater policy. It's not about anything except the fact that they're Mexicans and some people don't like them. It's ridiculous. It's not that big of a problem. I admit that it is a problem, and it is something that we need to look at. But we got a lot bigger fish to fry right now. Picking on poor Carlos in the kitchen. And I'll tell you something. I've worked in enough places. And now I've been down here in Texas for 10 years. I've gotten to know enough of these guys. You know, these guys that cut our lawn.
Dude, I did it for
these guys that you
5
worked with them.
years.
These guys that sleep under a tree at noon with their little cowboy hat, taking their lunch break.
Hey,
These are good people for the most part. I mean, I've never met one that I've gone, oh, well, we got to get him out of here. I know that bad ones sneak in, but bad ones of every type sneak in through every kind of way.
man, they are some of the hardest workers.
They just want the American dream.
Let me give you a really good example.
But it's ours, so they can't have it.
When I started doing landscape design, when I got out of college, I got hired by a small landscape company, and I was a foreman on a crew. I had like 4 Mexican guys working for me, and at first they really hated my guts because I was so young. And then when it would rain, when it's raining as a landscaper, that's like that's your day off. Like yeah. Not for them. They did not like. It would start raining, and I'm like, all right, let's go. No,
they keep going.
They wanted to keep. They would get mad at me. They were like, no. So, but then after, working with them a month, they realized how cool I was.
How cool? Yeah, it took them a month?
Yeah,
wow.
Well, maybe not a month,
So,
but after the first beer during lunch, it was like, oh, yeah, this guy's great.
So, John Hoffman, immigration reform, I don't care, man. That's another one of these divisive issues that I don't want to talk about here because it's really, all it does is pit people against each other. People against Mexicans. People who like Mexicans against people who don't like Mexicans. Mexicans against everybody, except for the people that like the Mexicans. So, in summation...
I love everyone.
Oh, I don't love everyone.
I do.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I dislike a lot of people. But...
I love every nation, every race.
Oh, yeah.
We're all the same people.
I don't dislike anyone based on where they were born.
Yeah.
I mean, I dislike people based on the fact that they're faulty humans. And there are faulty humans all over the place. All over, no matter where they're from. These two guys, we'll talk about this. We're going to get into all that we've learned about Tamerlan. Johar and Tamerlan, the two wacky brothers that were running around holding Boston hostage for a couple of days last week. We're learning a lot. There's a lot of details coming out about this situation, and I'm going to get into that. Have you been following this at all, Jansen? I don't know if you...
Yes.
Have you seen some of the ripples that are now appearing?
Yeah, did you see how the FBI was dropped the ball?
Well, I don't know that they dropped the ball.
Really?
I don't know that we're going to talk about all of this stuff. It certainly does make the FBI and whoever the investigators were who interviewed Tamerlan back in 2011 on the advice of the Russian consulate, it would certainly make those investigators look like bad investigators, but I didn't find anything. It is America. Maybe he wasn't doing anything wrong. But we'll talk about that, because I got a theory there. All right, John Hoffman, so there you go. Immigration. Just one of those things that divides us. don't want to talk about it. But I guess I did for about 10 minutes, so look at that. Oh, you got me, John Hoffman. Ugh. Clint Worth, otherwise known as Paco around these parts. Paco chimes in with, how good was Game of Thrones last night?
I hadn't seen it yet. Stop. Say nothing. I will cut your mic off and turn the music up. Don't say anything. I have seen it yet. I haven't seen it.
All I will say is this.
I'm watching
Jedi.
it after Earth Day.
Here's all I will say about last night's HBO presentation of Game of Thrones. I've made no secret of the fact that I want an entire series centered on Khaleesi, Daenerys Stormborn.
You gotta stop. I'm walking out of the room.
Of the House Targaryen, Mother of Dragons. All right, I'll tell you when you can come back in. I'm not even going to give any details out. All I said was I would like an entire series based around her. I would have a nice spinoff. Maybe a half-hour Curb Your Enthusiasm style thing, starring the Khaleesi, trying to manage her new army of slaves, and I think that would be funny. Very improv, very Larry David. Anyway, they do not, on Game of Thrones, pay enough attention to that storyline. This is the hot blonde girl who was married off to some Dothraki horsemen. They're like Mongol hordes. They're like barbarians. She's royal. She was married off to them, and she became a princess there. It's very complicated, but anyway, she's trying to get her family's throne back. Thus, the Game of Thrones. She's got a couple of dragons. So she just bought last night on Game of Thrones. She bought an entire army of slave warriors. Tens of thousands. I don't even know how many. Maybe hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But she bought them by selling one of her dragons. And I had some friends tell me last week, after the episode where she agreed to sell the dragons in exchange, or the dragon in exchange for the army. He was like, oh, she can't get rid of that dragon. And all I said was, she ain't getting rid of that dragon. You'll see. This is all going to work out for her. All right, come on back. Come on back, Jedi. Come on back in the room. I'm done. No more Game of Thrones talk. But it was really good last night. And I love where this is going. There's a lot of now. I am a Game of Thrones, the TV show freak. No, we're done. I'm a Game of Thrones, the TV show freak. There are people out there who know the books, so a lot of this stuff you're seeing on the show isn't a surprise to them. They're just kind of getting off on how cool it's presented. But I've never read the books. I don't want to read the books. I just want to experience it in the television universe.
I think I'm going to read the books.
Maybe after the show has its run. Maybe after the show is done, then I'll go and read the books. But right now, I mean, it's, oh God, it is just the best show on TV. It is so good. Man, what happened last night was awesome.
All right, don't say no more.
Just
Stop,
awesome.
Seriously.
And she, my Khaleesi,
God, I'm about to meet
is
you,
like
Mike.
the
Stop.
coolest character. She is the most badass, coolest character in the. I'm not talking about anything she did.
Okay.
I'm just telling you how cool she is. And why, I don't know. Hey, I was thinking about this. I was thinking they ought to give her a spinoff. It ought to be a half hour after Game of Thrones every week. Do it like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it's just you're following the Khaleesi and her day-to-day struggles to get this slave army, whipped into shape and raising a couple of rambunctious dragons. You could do that in a very Curb Your Enthusiasm style. I think it'd be fantastic. You'd watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And she is so sexy. There is something about that confidence that she has. She's like, what is she like? I think in real life she's like 25, 26. But she looks in the Game of Thrones to be playing what? 18?
18, yeah.
18. She's a young princess. She's actually a queen. I mean, she's got the blood of royals in her. She's supposed to be the queen or whatever, but she is so confident.
Her dad was the Mad King, right?
Yes, her father was the Mad King, who was killed by King Robert, who was then killed by...
Well, no, he was killed by Jaime Lannister, right?
Oh, yeah, yes, you're right. During Robert's rebellion. Yeah, King Robert led a rebellion against the Mad King, and Jaime Lannister...
Stabbed him in the back.
Yeah, killed him. That's why he's the Kingslayer. Oh, my God! And the Kingslayer! Oh, Jedi, you have no idea what... Did you see last week?
Yeah.
When he got his hand cut off?
Yeah, I saw that.
Holy crap, it ain't good. to be the Kingslayer. It's boy, you think he's very protected in his life. He gets out into the world. Not everybody loves the Kingslayer, and he is experiencing that. That dude, if you thought that Jaime Lannister was an a-hole, which I did, you're gonna love what the a-hole has to go through. See anything else? Anything else from Game of Thrones? And you know, my two favorite characters on Game of Thrones are chicks. Is that weird? I mean, my favorite character was Ned Stark, but they killed him off in season 1. He was like the cool guy, and then they killed him off. But my two favorite characters are Khaleesi, Daenerys Stormborn, Mother of Dragons, House Targaryen. She's my favorite. But then I like Ned Stark's youngest daughter, the little archer girl. What are you doing? You pulling up a little Game of Thrones stuff? Oh yeah, our Game of Thrones music.
Some music. Yeah.
What is her name? Ari? Is her name Ari? Ari Stark? She's like she's like a little girl, but she's more like, you know what she is? And this is what this character reminds me of. She's the Jennifer Lawrence character in Hunger Games. The youngest little Stark daughter.
Okay, yeah.
Who's, you know, she's a princess. She's got the North royal blood in her. But she's also like this, what is she? She's like 10, 11? She's like this crazy archer and this great swordsman. You know, she's cool. She's
Man,
like,
didn't you want to see her go off with that guy? Remember when he offered to take her to the land to train her how to disappear and change faces, and she's like, I can't right now.
The shapeshifter?
Yeah. Didn't you want to see her just
No,
I did.
Because I want to see her fight alongside her brother Robb. That's what we're getting to. We're getting to a point where Robb Stark's army is going to, you know, there's going to be a big battle here. All of these armies that are converging on the throne, they're going to have one wang dang dilly of a battle. And I want to see little Arya riding next. Here's what I want to see. I want to see little Arya riding next to her brother. Or I want to see Arya, because remember, Arya is out there with the Men of No Banners. Arya has kind of been rescued in the woods by a bunch of guys who are warriors and knights in an army that don't fight for any king. They just fight for the people. So what I want to see is, I want to see Robb Stark invading with his army, and then I want to see Jon Snow lead another army of like night watchmen or wall walkers or whatever the hell they are. I want to see Jon Snow lead that army, and then I want to see Arya lead the army of the people. Like this little girl, I want her to ride in with that Men of No Banners army behind her. Oh, it's going to be so good.
You know what's funny?
Oh, it's going to be so good.
There's like a commercial on TV that advertises like a cable TV show where you see a little girl saying, "Remember my father, to arms." She's on horses. I think they like stole that. They were showing a glimpse. You know what? Have you not seen that?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how you hadn't seen that commercial. I don't even have TV and I've seen that commercial.
Well, aren't they, doesn't Time Warner have commercials for their on-the-go service?
Yeah, maybe
where they
that's
show,
it.
yeah, there's like a guy walking down a city street and he's got an iPad and he's looking at the iPad and he's watching Game of Thrones. And then as the camera pulls back, he's walking down the street, but the dragons are walking behind him.
No, it's not an actual. The scene isn't a Game of Thrones. It's not that. It's like a recreation of it. But it's just this random little girl who's on a horse and all the armor.
It's not Arya?
It's not Arya. But she goes, "Remember the name of my father, to arms," or whatever. And all these men are and they cheer and they're about to go into battle.
You know what we should do today? We're already talking about this, and I know that you're mad about it, but we should talk to Paco. We should do an update. If we're not going to do the Game of Thrones podcast, then we should at least do a Game of Thrones update on this show.
No, I haven't seen it. You can't.
Well, then you know what? You can just put on some music, you can go in the other room, you can hang out and watch TV, and Paco and I will talk about last night's episode for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Maybe we can get him. Maybe we'll get him.
Is he coming over?
No.
Paco, come over. Come play.
Come over and play. Take another long lunch. All right, Dustin Seeley, he says, again, we're back to the Facebook page, Random Topics. Oh, that Game of Thrones music, man, that you could just play that all the time. That was the extended theme. That's cool stuff. Dustin Seeley says, I got a good feeling when I saw all those people in Boston standing on the street applauding police for the capture of Zarniev. For all the tragedy they went through this week, it ended with a lot of smiles. Happy to see people waving the flag out there, too. Man, got to admit, that was very, very cool. Now, when last we spoke, Friday, they had not caught Johar. Johar was still running around that neighborhood in Watertown. Remember, I had stayed up like all night.
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, whenever he was getting like arrested or when it was going down, I was like, oh, poor Pugs. He's like this. That's when he falls. Were you awake?
Here's what I did. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, whatever it was. Or maybe this is Paco. About 3:30 in the afternoon, I laid down on the couch and I closed my eyes and I immediately went to sleep. I mean, I don't even remember falling asleep. I just remember I was out because my intention was I was going to listen for a little while and maybe drift off. Dude, I woke up at 6:15. No, maybe 5. Whatever it was, I woke up and like 3 minutes after I woke up is when they announced that they had him. That they had somebody. And I was like, it was perfect. So I caught like a 2-hour nap. Are they gone?
Yeah, I don't know whatever it was.
I caught like a 2-hour nap right there in the middle, a little energy nap during all the boring stuff, and woke up just in time for the capture.
Get out of here. Like, naturally woke up, or did somebody have to call? Because I was thinking about calling you.
Well, I'll tell you this. My phone was blowing up. My phone, and I think that is why I woke up. My buddy Rick texted me. That woke me up. My friend Ryan texted me. That woke me up. Somebody else called me. I had my Facebook page up, and so my Facebook page was blowing up with blip, 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 blip. Like everybody was like, are you awake? You gotta wake up. So thank you to everybody. That was awesome. You all woke me up, and I didn't miss nothing. I got to see it. Here, let's listen to this, though. I got a really, really cool piece of audio here I want to play for you. This is, I was listening to the Scanners. I had more fun in the last, well, I shouldn't say that, because it wasn't fun. But I am a news junkie, so I can distance myself from the tragedy.
It was thrilling.
It was thrilling from somebody who always wanted to be a journalist, wanted to do that, loves news, loves breaking news, loves this shit. So, I mean, it wasn't, but I do admit, I have an ability that I can completely distance myself from the tragedy of it all and just sort of lose myself in the news gathering. I can lose myself in the techniques being used. It's kind of like, what I've been doing for the last 20 years of my life. So I like it. But I was listening to the Scanners, and the Scanners were so fascinating, man. So fascinating. Here, I got this. Listen to this. This was the big payoff moment for anybody that was listening on the Scanners. This is when they got him. You want to listen to the cops? Here we go. This is, let's see if we can bring this up.
Station H received a code 22 call of a possible sighting of the subject. Okay, received. CP to 315, sir, stand by. We're trying to get somebody down to you now. Received.
Can we get a house description? House description, car, and 6.
We can pump gas from here.
Okay, so they got him. They got the call from the person that said that they went out to check on their backyard, and they noticed that the tarp on their boat that had been sealed, like heat sealed, the tarp was over it for a winter, preparing it for winter. They could see that someone had ripped open. It looked like somebody was in there, and there was blood on it. So that's when they called 911, and that's when the police came. And these are the initial cops on the scene, and they can see. And now they've got a helicopter up there. The helicopter is doing thermal imaging of the boat because you can't see because he's under a tarp. And that's when they got the ID. They went, yeah, there's somebody in there. We got a body laying in there.
Okay, I have it.
Bring some dummy rounds into the boat, so nobody be firing, okay? These are just dummy rounds being fired into the boat, so everybody hold fire, all right? You're going to hear some dummy rounds going into the boat. Hold your fire.
All units, hold your fire. Dummy rounds.
What are dummy rounds?
Rubber bullets or something. I don't know. What non-lethal bullets? They're just saying, hey, we are hey, all other cops, you're going to hear some firing. It's us. Don't think that it's the Wild West. Don't start shooting. We're firing dummy rounds.
Into the boat. All units, hold your fire.
There's going to be some gas being deployed, everybody, all right? They're going to be firing gas into this boat, so...
4540. Nothing shown in the area at this time. Play the area. All units be advised, gas going into the boat.
For Boston Sergeant, dummy rounds are going to be fired at the boat. Dummy rounds, just be advised.
All right, no officers should fire unless fired upon. No officers to fire unless fired upon. All right, there's definitely...
When I was listening to this, when I woke up from my nap and I immediately put the scanner back on, it was like, I think I got hard. I mean, it was so exciting. It was like, whoa, they really got something here. Maybe this will be the payoff. I've been listening for almost 36 hours straight. Finally, we're going to get the payoff.
movement in the boat. 9-3, I got a good copy.
Looks like it keeps hitting that hatchway.
Air 3 is prone, head to the rear. And he's moving. Tailwind reporting, still moving in the rear of the boat, still moving in the back of the boat.
All right, what's happening now is they sent in that robot to lift up the tarp. Did you see that? It wasn't even really a robot. It looked like a big truck with like a robot attached to the front of it. And it put the arm up and the arm lifted up with a camera, you know, and there was like a guy in it. So the thing went up and the camera was there. And then the guy in the driving, whatever it was like, oh, there he is. and so that's when they said, you want to come out? And he came out or whatever. I don't really have the details of exactly what went down.
Yeah, because I thought did he not fire?
No, that's what we are. No, the firing was all the police and they were dummy rounds. There wasn't like a big shootout. At least, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting so many conflicting reports. But they believe that his injuries may have been self-inflicted. So he's got a throat injury. They think he tried to kill himself by shooting himself in the throat. And then we were told that he was injured in the shootout the night before. But I've heard nothing about that. I mean, the details surrounding Johar are very different and plentiful. But nothing seems to be, this is the fact of what happened. There's a lot of people saying a lot of different things. I have no idea.
Whatever eyes you have, that'd be great. Air 3, Lieutenant Bernarski, go ahead with that movement. We have eyes on. We have no movement. Okay, we copy. No movement in the boat. Thank you. CP, it looks like he's laying. Up, stand by. Looks like he's sitting up again. There is movement. Okay, in reference to the boat, at this point, he's on the fence side, center of the boat. Center of the boat is the biggest mass that we can see. Center of the boat, fence side.
This dude is hidden inside something. I mean, this is the technology that we have. They're looking through walls. They're looking through stuff, and they can see him in there. Amazing technology.
Frank, just hold. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. I don't know if they're going to start trying to work away on that boat again, okay? Just hold your position. I want you right up on top of the boat while they're doing the thing. Okay, we're maintaining the 3-4 corner. Just keep an eye on the garage, all right? See, if there's another tactical unit here that we don't know about, they need to stop their position. Do not move on the boat. HRT is working this. No other elements on the boat, please. HRT only. All right, CP to any tactical unit in the area of the boat. HRT only in the area at this time. HRT only.
Now, I don't know what the HRT is, but I think this is where they're pulling back all the cops, and they're only sending in the SWAT team. So all the cops, the regular cops who are on the scene, are being told to go back, move back. We're bringing in the special team because we're going to get them. We're going in to get them. We're going to let SWAT do that.
All right, so that order's been relayed to Boston as well. HRT only. Okay, too late. Too late. Proceed. Position. Still a hot scene. All right, in Watertown, the suspect's in custody. Nobody is to come in the perimeter. It's still a hot scene.
They got him.
Suspect in custody, but nobody inside the perimeter. Put that out on channel 1. 10-4. Medic. Great job. Thank you. Let's get a contract.
Attention all officers. Per the UCC, we have our second suspect of the Boston Marathon bombing in custody. Again, we have our second suspect in custody in Watertown. The time is 20:15. William, police to Bayfront. Strong work, Boston.
Good job, dispatchers.
Now it's just a big love fest. Now the dispatchers are all saying good job, and they're saying, oh, good job, you. No, you, dispatchers. No, you.
Dispatchers were awesome.
All those EOD units, SWAT teams, all command staff, excellent job, excellent job. Boston Operations 2056.
So, I'm listening to that, and I'm still watching Anderson Cooper fill in time, and I'm going, no, they got him, and you don't even know it yet. They got him. I'm like, any minute now, and then sure enough, Anderson Cooper, like a couple of seconds later, dipped his head. I'm being told something. We're getting some kind of information. I go, I know what you're being told. I know exactly it was cool. So big round of applause. And yeah, to see, as Dustin said, to see those cops, the scenes immediately following the arrest when the cops were pulling back out of the area and the entire city of Watertown was on the street. It was like a parade. It was beautiful. Everybody was cheering the cops. The cops were pumping their fists out the window of the car. I know we all got a problem with cops and sometimes they're dicks but they're not all. I mean, there are a lot of good guys out there who risked their lives for the people. This was really a scary situation. Don't forget, there's a dead cop from the night before and there's another cop that's in surgery or was in surgery. I don't know how that guy's doing. I mean, these guys didn't quit their shifts. They stayed on for 10, 12, 13 hours. It's just amazing, amazing job. And no matter what anyone wants to say, we're going to find a way to blame Obama for this. I promise you, we're going to find a way. In fact, we've already got one brewing, and I'll share that little conspiracy theory with you. But holy shit, 4 days? That was it, dude. 4 days. You commit a terror attack against the United States government. We caught you in 4 days. Timothy McVeigh, how far did you get? Timothy McVeigh was caught like in hours. This is awesome. This is good work. This is something to be proud of. Domestic terrorists ought to learn a little something from this. We will catch you. Let's take a break. We'll come back. This has been a very long first segment of the show. We'll come back. We'll take a break. HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. Heard every day at noon right here on DeepElemOnAir.com.
Tell us what you want to hear. DeepEllumOnAir.com.
I said my feet won't touch the ground, so lay your head down. Lay your head down on me. I will rest now, won't feel no stress now. I'm high like the moon now, and I will wait for you to protect me. Kill who's against me. I'm high like the palm tree. I wanna make love to you. I said my feet won't touch the ground, so lay your head down. I said my feet won't touch the ground, so lay your head down. Lay your head down on me. In the clouds I lost you, baby. In the clouds I lost you, baby. We all get lonesome here. We all get lonesome. We all get lonesome. We all get lonesome. I said my feet won't touch the ground, so lay your head down. I said my feet won't touch the ground, so lay your head down. Lay your head down on me. In the
Oh, shit.
clouds I lost you, baby.
Deep Ellum on air. Only the best in local music.
Do it live!
From DFW and beyond. Deep Ellum on air.
Mesmerized every time I see your face. Took my broken pieces to put them back in place. There is nothing wrong with you.
you'reahero.org presents PMS on DeepEllumOnAir.com, playing all the best local music. That right there, Pell in the Glow, Mesmerized. Before that, starting off the 3, we played 3 there. I know we usually play 2. Don't be upset at me. Uneasy Pilgrim with Jugular, and sandwiched in the middle, Loyal Sally and Clouds. Who do we have on the phone here?
We got Bubba, the lead singer of Loyal Sally. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Is this the Bubba from Loyal Sally? Dude, I love your band.
Nice. Yeah. Appreciate that, man.
I'm like, seriously, I'm turning into like a dork fan. You know, it's like I'm trying to find as much as I can about you. Right now, if you look at my CD player, 2 of your CDs are in my car player. So really nice to finally meet you. I've met, was it Michael?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I met him.
The other bearded freak.
And I just couldn't make it out to the show. You had a big show on Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We played the DFW Normal 420 event, and, wow, quite a turnout. The FNAs were awesome. All the bands, Mixed Magic. Everybody killed it. It was a really peaceful night. Went off really well.
No gunshots?
Well, a few, but that was like at the after party.
But come on, it's Texas. You know, there's got to be some gunshots. It's the good kind of gunshots. It's
right.
Texas kind. All right, so what are you guys doing here? You got something that we got to talk about?
Yeah, they have a contest going for the Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay, explain this.
Yeah, the Hard Rock Cafe is it's the Hard Rock Rising. Basically, we started out with about, worldwide there were about 3,000 bands. In Dallas, there were about 300. We got to the top, to the finals. We won, so we represent Dallas now for the global voting.
Hey, so you are the Dallas representation.
Yeah, we are. It's been really crazy too. They got us set up to play a Stars game this weekend. The party at the Plaza.
Boy, the Stars really are desperate. They're letting you guys play for them.
Right. I was like, I had to watch the game last night. I'm not much of a sports guy, but I watched the game last night to see what happened. They lost.
Oh, they're terrible.
You know, it's all good, though. This is going to be their last home game, so I checked. It's already sold out as far as the game is concerned, but
nice.
Party on the Plaza is free. It's going to be fun. We're going to play before and afterwards. It's in Victory Park.
Those are cool events they do. I don't know if you've ever been to. A lot of times before big concerts, they'll do that. They really utilize that space well. So it's coming up. When is it?
It's going to be the Party at the Plaza is at American Airlines Center in Victory Park.
When?
I'm sorry, what?
When?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the 27th, this Saturday coming up.
So this Saturday on the plaza there, right there at American Airlines Center, before the Stars' final home game, Loyal Sally's going to be out there playing.
But they also have, you guys have some kind of contest. Still, the same contest is going. If you still need to go vote, because if they win, they go to London.
Yes. So we represent Dallas now for the global voting. There's 96 bands left out of a shit ton. So we're in the top 96 right now. What we need to do is get votes from here until the 1st of next month. Top 25 go to London to battle it out. So that would be exciting.
Okay, so how do we vote?
You go online. You're going to have to like the Facebook page for Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, you do have to do it from a PC, from a computer, so it won't let you do it on your phone.
Okay.
As far as I've heard. Go on there, like the link. You can find the tab on there that talks about Hard Rock Rising. You vote for us. 1 vote for a person. Pretty simple. I think we need to, get.
All right. We need to figure out a better way to tell people how to vote.
Yeah,
it's a little complicated. We'll streamline that.
We'll put a link up on our website that people can just go click, and they'll send them straight to that voting link. Is that cool?
Yeah, the voting just started today. I haven't really explored it too much, but from what I understand, it's really self-explanatory. So.
Well, Bubba, we got your back, man, because we're big fans of Loyal Sally. We love you, dude.
Yeah, and
I appreciate it.
Tell me about the competition. So 96 other bands. It's down to the final 96. You guys are representing Dallas. Let's forget about the rest of the world. I mean, I assume there's going to be some trouble coming out of England. Some of the more English-speaking, music is probably pretty good. But let's focus on America. So, like every other city in the country, like a Chicago, a San Francisco, they've all have nominated a band.
Exactly, yeah. Any of the Hard Rocks that decided to compete in this competition in America, I mean, it's not going to be every Hard Rock, I don't think. There's more than 96, but yeah, the next stage of the competition is going to London, so it's all voting from here on out. I don't really even know any of the other bands yet. I haven't seen any releases on who's won or anything, so I haven't been able to.
I'd be interested to know like who the other, maybe heard of any of them.
Yeah, I'd like to size them up for sure and see what we're up against.
I'm gonna pull some up and we can play some during.
Hey, let me ask you something. With Hard Rock, what's going on with Hard Rock? Where is it? I don't even know where the Hard Rock in Dallas is anymore.
Whenever I think of Hard Rock, for some reason, it always makes me think of Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, that movie. The Hard Rock Cafe was always in those movies, and to be honest with you, the first time I went to Hard Rock was right before our competition started.
Well, where is the Hard Rock in Dallas? Because historically, the Hard Rock Cafe had this magnificent building in Uptown. I mean, it was a cathedral. It was I think it was an old church that they turned into the Hard Rock Cafe. And then about 2005, 2006, they tore that down and Hard Rock left the market. But now within the last couple of years, they've moved back. I just don't know where they are. Are they in...
It's close to the American Airlines. It's just
there. So it's in Victory.
It's kind of close to the American Airlines. A better way to explain it is literally right across the street from the House of Blues.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So they're going to do battle there. Wow, I didn't even know. I wonder what the new Hard Rock looks like. Because the old one was so cool. Bubba, did you ever go to the old Hard Rock that was here in Dallas?
No, I never went into it, but I can tell you that the new Hard Rock it's pretty commercial. It's in a building that has several other different.
Yeah, like I know what you're talking about. Those kinds of buildings that they have down there in the multi-use.
But I mean, it's a really nice place though.
Sure.
If you go inside, they have a lot of really cool memorabilia and.
Yeah.
They do it up pretty nice in there.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do, Bubba. We're going to get that link. We're going to put it up on the Deep Element on-air site, and then we'll start hawking it for you.
Yeah, I'd like it. We need to push it from here until, like I said, the first of this coming month. So.
Have you ever been to the Hard Rock in London?
No, sir. I've never even been on an airplane before.
What?
No, I'm just joking.
So I was going to say, don't get your hopes up. The food sucks there, too.
Yeah. Well, maybe Hard Rock Cafe has a set menu where they have to all be the same.
That's terrible. House of Blues, all those places are terrible. You remember Planet Hollywood? I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, you can get food, but it's not like the best burger.
It's like TGI Fridays.
Yeah, it's like real
corporate food.
I'll tell you, I've had some really good times at Hard Rock. Boy, I'll tell you, that one in Chicago. I've painted the parking lot with my innards before that place gets wild. All right, well, we'll put the link up. We'll make sure that we'll hustle up some votes for you. And thanks, man. And really, Jansen turned me on to you guys, but I'm a huge fan. So
cool, man. Thank you for listening. And LoyalSally.com, Reverb Nation, check it out. Please help us out. I'm gonna get back to watching Planet Earth in my boxers.
All right. Hey, Bubba, happy Earth Day.
Yeah.
Right. I think Mike is out at Best Bath and Beyond or something with his wife, the
rock star life.
All right.
Yeah, they're having a good old fun day Monday.
All right, well, thank you, Bubba. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, y'all.
There he goes. That's Bubba from Loyal Sally. That's our favorite band here. I say they're my favorite band, but I like so much of the stuff that you're choosing to play, the local stuff, that there's a lot of really good local music that I've completely, I haven't even been... Man, I mean, I haven't. I haven't been to a local show in 6 years.
Well, we're gonna bring him to you. We got big stuff planned. So we're gonna start bringing these great bands that we know and love, and start doing nice events with them.
All right, how very exciting! Let's go back to the Facebook page quickly. We're gonna run through a couple of more of these issues that you guys want to talk about. This is where it starts to just devolve into some strange lunatic thread, and it's my man John Hoffman who I think does it. He wants to know. Oh, is it John? Well, I don't know.
The Hoff.
Here's what he wants to know. First, he says, "Are there any cool photo sightings of the Lyriads meteor shower?" Now, you know about this that's going on?
No, and I don't know.
We're in like the throes of like the biggest meteor shower. You're supposed to look out.
How do I not?
I think it ends. I think it ends tomorrow or something.
Really?
Yeah. Wait here. Tell you what it is. Why not?
I normally know all about this. Well, see, I am 3 days behind on my coast to coast listening, so that's kind of why. I was sick, and so I didn't.
Is that where you get all of your planetary information
Yeah,
from?
absolutely, man. They're great.
Coast to coast?
I love Coast to Coast.
All right.
I listen to it every day.
All right. Oh, let's see the news here. See it. Here are some good photos. The Earth Sky blog. NBC News, the Lyriad meteor shower is peaking now. So this will be a little heads up for you stargazers out there. You know, the last big meteor shower that we had, I was still living at my old place, which provided me with a very high-level parking garage. And we had a pickup truck. And I remember this was last summer. My kid and I, at like 4 in the morning, because that's when it was supposed to be the best, I woke him up and we went up there and we laid in the back of the pickup truck with sleeping bags and stuff, and we just watched the streak right across the sky, all the meteor. It was pretty damn cool.
Isn't that great?
He didn't appreciate it.
No.
No, he was 3.5 years old. You know, everything he sees, he just assumes happens all the time. You know, he didn't get how it was special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Like, he's like, oh yeah. And like there was a ton of them, like shooting stars everywhere.
Like a movie.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, there's another one. And I'm like, there's one. He's like, there's one. I mean, it's just happening so frequently that there's nothing to him. He thinks it happens all the time. Here's the story. The annual Lyriad meteor shower will peak Sunday night and early Monday. But the moon's bright light may spoil the celestial fireworks. I guess, well, it's going to peak, but I guess you can still see it like tonight. It's still close to peak, I would imagine. The Lyriad meteor shower occurs each year in mid-April when the Earth passes through a trail of dusty debris from the comet Thatcher, which orbits the sun once every 415 years. Humans have been observing this particular meteor shower for at least 2,600 years. Wow. Typically, the Lyriad meteor shower is a relatively faint stargazing event, though observers with clear, dark skies away from city lights can usually spot up to 15 or 20 meteors an hour. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The meteors appear to radiate out at the constellation Lyra, hence their name, which can be found in the eastern night sky tonight. The moon is expected to spoil much of this year's Lyriad meteor display because it's currently in its brightest glow. Oh, thanks, moon. Good job, moon. Moon. You don't even need to blow up the moon. Seriously, all the moon does is bad shit. Turns humans into werewolves. Makes people crazy. Every time people start going wacko in a big city on a hot summer night, it's blamed on the moon.
Dude,
and now the moon is ruining our view of the meteor shower. We do not need the moon.
No, you're absolutely wrong. If we didn't have the moon, we wouldn't have the tidal waves. And if we didn't have the tidal waves, we would be fucked.
Please, we could put something up there. we could replace. We'll figure that out. Moon always looking at us. Actually, you know, that's very. People are thinking, "Wow, Pugs, that's different for you," because I am a moon child. I was born on July 20th.
What does that mean?
1969, the day we landed on the moon. That's my
okay.
birthday.
Gotcha.
I came into this world as men were setting foot on another world for the first time. First and only time. So I do dig the moon. And every year, because of that, around my birthday, there's always big like moon celebrations. So I've always sort of been like a moon kid. So for me to turn on the moon, you know that he must have done something wrong. Again, turns normal people into werewolves, makes people crazy on hot summer nights.
If you could be any...
Ruins our meteor shower gazing.
If you could be any monster, what would it be?
Oh, any monster?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we should introduce this. We should have Paco involved in this. Paco joins us today.
Hey, how's
Hi,
it going?
Paco. The question has been asked: if we could be any monster, what monster would you want to be?
Because I've always wanted to be a werewolf.
I'd say John Wayne Gacy.
Really?
Well, you said monster. Okay, so you mean like fictional monster?
Yeah, like the typical, like, you know, Frankenstein, vampire, you know.
Okay, I think Frankenstein would suck.
Frankenstein
first
is
of all.
so limited.
Yeah.
So limited. And even among monsters, he's still the special one.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what if you could actually design who you want your Frankenstein to be made of?
Can I ask you, is Count Dracula, is he a monster?
Yeah, he's a vampire.
Oh, God, how can you? That's the Superman of monsters.
Yeah,
right? That's
vampire has the most obvious advantages.
powers and He can blend in if you really needed to.
You got mind control stuff going on. You gotta just
Yeah, but
avoid
he can
the
only
sun.
come out at night, though. Yeah.
I only
So
come out
what?
at night.
Yeah, how is that different than Paco? Can you imagine you live in a neighborhood with Count Dracula, and like you only see him at night when like there's an ambulance at a neighbor's house? He comes out the driveway in his robe. It's all the other neighbors. Count, how are you? Hello, what's going on? Oh, Mrs. O'Leary fell down her steps. Ooh, terrible. Chip, how's the golf game? You know, and he goes back in. He works nights. Oh, the Count. All right, so who would you want to be?
I would be a werewolf, absolutely. I've always wanted to be a werewolf.
Well,
Werewolf does seem kind of cool. It doesn't have the advantages of a vampire, but it just seems cooler.
But I would need like control. Like I would want to be able to change anytime I want.
I'll say
Not
this.
just the moon.
I'll say this for the werewolf. I get the attraction. You know, I'm a wolf fan. I love wolf dogs. I love my favorite animal. People say, you know, when like you just had sex with a girl for the first time, you're making that stupid small talk. What's your favorite animal? You know, it's like wolf. You know, I'll say wolf. So I like the wolf, so I understand, but try to sell it to me. Well, what is so great about being the werewolf? Because I imagine, you know, the vampire could just turn the werewolf into stone by thinking about it.
Well, I'm not really thinking about it as far as pitting myself up against a vampire, but other everyday people.
Okay.
You know, because I imagine I'm a outside day person anyway, so I'm not really gonna be seeing a vampire because I don't go out at night. But so that way I would want to be able to change anytime I want, and if you know.
So really, what we're talking about here, because you know, monster, that's a very lie. We're talking about the classic monsters. We're talking about the Mummy, Frankenstein, right?
Even
Werewolf,
like that water monster of the lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
monsters. Okay, is Godzilla in there?
Sure.
Man, that'd be cool to be Godzilla. Paco, how about you?
I'd have to go with vampire. I think there's just too many
Godzilla.
advantages. I mean, the whole living forever thing is kind of cool.
See, werewolves
Getting
can live
laid
hundreds
all
of
the
years.
time. Vampires are always getting laid.
Well, it depends on your definition of the werewolf there, Jansen.
What is the difference between a wolfman and a werewolf? First of all, are they just two names for the same thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, my werewolf is very when he turns into a werewolf, he's a very big, savage werewolf. But he's also extremely powerful. Like he lives hundreds of years.
What about when he's not a wolf? Is he cool? Is he a
Yeah,
cool guy?
yeah, I'm like
you
Teen
have a beer
Wolf.
with him?
I'm like Teen Wolf.
Okay, all right.
Teen Wolf. When I'm,
You watch True Blood on HBO?
no, but I have
Some pretty damn cool werewolves on that
Really?
show. Yeah.
They're kind of dirtbags, though.
Well, not the main one. The who's RJ? What's the guy's name?
Alisade or something.
El Cid. Yeah, El Cid. He's cool.
He's still kind of a
He's like a
dirtbag.
really good guy.
He ran with a bad pack.
He did, but he's not with them anymore because they're a bad pack. He's like.
What was he doing now? He's like a construction worker.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm not. Seriously, my whole idea of a werewolf, Paco, is exactly what Paco is describing because I watch True Blood. And like the werewolves in True Blood, they're kind of like they live in trailer
I
parks.
wonder if True
they're
Blood,
like meth makers.
True Blood's a little bit slanted though because it all takes place in Louisiana,
True.
and the furthest they go is like Dallas or Arkansas.
Sure. You want to see the Boston Matt Damon werewolf. That's what you want to see, right? The college kid werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Imagination Scientist threw in a twist, so he's adding the '90s monsters: Freddy Krueger,
okay.
Chucky,
Sure. Okay.
Jason.
No,
Wasn't
Jason sucks.
Freddy Krueger a child molester, and then like the town burnt him alive, or he was a child killer?
Yeah.
No, he was a child molester.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the janitor at the school, and he was molesting all the kids in the town, and strung them up and burned them alive. It's a good one. Freddy Krueger's good, but man, if you're gonna be Freddy Krueger, then you have to go through that. You have to go through the burning, and you have to rape kids, and that's nothing I'm into.
And plus,
As a monster, I have a line that I will draw.
and you really the only powers he has is in sleep. Like, what are you gonna do?
It's
You know?
terrible, terrible. Although, not a bad power to have. And that brings me to the follow-up question that I've always asked people. I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but let's take it one step further. All right, you don't have to be a monster, but you can have any superpower, any one single superpower. And I've given this a shitload of thought, so I know what mine is. Paco, you want to give you one little time? You want me to tell you what mine is while you guys give it a little thought?
I've thought about this a lot too, and it's really a tie between two, which would be either being able to be invisible, just because I'm a
Good.
weird pervert that
Yeah.
would want to
Good.
I can also rob banks. You know, there's a lot of uses for it.
Being invisible is a good second place.
Or being able to fly. Being able to fly would be pretty cool too.
See, whatever it is that here's a criteria for my power. Whatever power it is that I have to be able to still be a normal person. You know, like I don't want to turn into Hulk.
Yeah.
Someone pisses me off at the bar, I turn into Hulk once, I gotta move. You know, because it's got to be something that, you know, is just my power. That you know, that's my criteria. So back to Paco.
I would go with being invisible. I could think of a lot of nefarious things to do with that.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. How about you, Jansen?
Dude, I would absolutely go with like super telekinetic powers, like ultimate, like so much so where I can almost slow down time a little bit.
Okay, all right. So you're saying like a time bender. You want to be able...
I can't really move through time, but I can. So I'm so like mentally powerful. I can move massive. I can move planets. I can slow time down fraction, like to where I can like move fast.
I like that. I like where you're going with that because that's kind of what mine is.
Fly.
No, that's
dude. I can fly because I can move. I can
killed
move objects. So why not be able to move myself?
I ask this question like when I'm around a new group of people, just sort of weed out the idiots because the idiots go, "I want to fly." Really? That is so limited. That's what you want to do. You want to fly. You are never gonna. You're gonna be.
You know how much time I've spent on LBJ just stuck in traffic? Here's how you can tell whether
my superpower fixes that.
Here's how you can tell whether someone is good or evil. All right, I was stuck in traffic. And I was like, man, I wish I had Magneto's powers. Now, with Magneto's powers...
You lift all the cars out of the way.
No, here's the thing. I could lift my car up and make it fly because it's metal, but that's not what I would do. I would pick up all the other cars and throw them out of the way.
And see, it's too much of a spectacle.
Because I'm evil.
It's, then you know what? You'd be dead. We'd have figured out a way to catch you. You'd be...
The X-Men have been trying.
No, we'd catch you. No, it's too much of a spectacle. Every time you... No, all right, so here's what my superhero is. And it's based on time bending. Because I think that's where the real glory is. If you can, like, pick the winning lottery ticket number, you know what I mean? If you can bend time and shape it and go back like 45 minutes this way or whatever, that's what I want to be. I don't necessarily want to be able to time travel, although that would be cool. When I get the owner's manual on my powers, I'll see if that's actually a possibility, maybe with an upgrade or something. I don't know. But all I want to be able to do is, and this is how I would use it, and this is who my superhero would be. Are you ready? The pause. I would just fucking hit pause on everything. But I could still move and go about and, you know, do whatever I want, but everybody else is momentarily frozen in time like they're paused. And here's what I would be. You want to talk about being able to fly under the radar with your superpower? I would be the greatest home run hitter of all time. Of all time. People just wouldn't be able to figure out how this fat guy in his 40s was able to, like, you know, hit 170 home runs last season. And just whenever I want. Because the way I have this power figured out is, I mean, it would work great on the streets, too. I witness any kind of crime. Yeah, boom, I can pause it, or I can bend it back a couple of seconds and pull babies out of the way of speeding cars. I can do all that shit. And when I reset time, nobody's the wiser. Nobody knows anything that happened except me. So I'm not making a spectacle. But the baseball thing, man, the fantasy is, like, I'm up there at the plate, man, and everything that he's throwing, I just, boom, pause it. Right when it's in the perfect spot, like it's a T-ball. And then I just crank it and restart time. And everyone, you know how many home runs I could hit that way if it was just like a T-ball? Or at least even I could be the greatest base hit guy at all. Because maybe I don't have the power. But I think that when I resume time, there would be some kind of atomic time.
We don't want to have the power. You just want to be the best hitter.
Yeah.
Because then with the power, they would suspect it's steroids and they'd start doing some research on you.
I have given this so much thought that I've actually gone through the sports, like why I chose baseball. Because it can work with any sport. Basketball, it would just look too strange because I'm not tall, I'm not in shape. You know, I can pass for a baseball player if I could hit magnificent home runs. They'd be like, oh, well, fat guy, you know? They'd be like that. Football was very interesting because I could like run, 100 yards every time. Every time someone's about to tackle me, I just pause. Or even if they do hit me and I don't see it, as soon as I get hit, I just pause. Peel myself away out of that, resume time, let that cut, you know, and I could like pause my way all the way down the field if I needed. But baseball, because of the season, because of the body, because of, you know, I'm a white guy. That's who plays baseball, right? You know, white guys. I just think it would fit. So that would be my superpower. But I kind of like where you're going as well, with because you want to be able to do again. What was yours? Just kind of a play on time bending.
It was just super strong, like telekinesis. You know, where my mind has power over anything.
You just want to be able to move shit.
I can move. I'm so like mentally strong. I can like even like bend, like pause time, not pause it, but slow it down. I could fly my body. I could teleport if I wanted to. I'm so strong. I could move the moon.
All right, you've got like the super upgrade package on powers.
Yeah.
Seems like you just want to be able to do whatever you think of.
Yeah.
You just want a super mind. All right, so Paco, back to yours. Paco wants to be invisible. I like invisible, but let me see if I can't sell you on the pause.
I like the pause.
Because invisible is, people could, if you're in a girl's locker room, for just pure
That would get
pervy
old
reasons,
really quick.
It would get old really quick, and you get bumped into. It'd be weird because you're still, interacting with them. Me, I just walk in, pause, and they're all frozen, and I can just check out what I want.
I could see that.
See, it just works better.
I
think.
have another one.
I could rob banks. I could do whatever.
Here's an idea though. Like, all right, you remember Unbreakable, where the guy, Bruce Willis.
My favorite superhero movie of all time.
If you look at if you had a guy
of all time.
What the
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, in my opinion, made the greatest superhero film of all time, and it's Unbreakable. But back to Paco. We'll get to that if you want to challenge me on that.
Let's just say you had that power where nothing could hurt you.
Yeah.
But you didn't have any other powers. You weren't like super strong. You couldn't fly like Superman or do any of that stuff. You just couldn't be hurt. So you literally had to use yourself as kind of like a human crash test dummy to save stuff.
That's a rough one.
Like,
it's a rough one. You really got to
guys are speeding away in a car. They're going to get away. You have to go throw yourself through the windshield.
Right. Right. Because you'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
But wait, if I remember that, he's not okay in the moment. Like, he felt the pain.
Oh, yeah.
It just healed up really quick.
Yeah.
Like, if he felt, so it's even worse. Like, when you fall off a tall building and smack into the cement, you're going to die. So you're not going to feel that. It's just over too quick. He actually feels it because he survives.
Same thing with Wolverine.
And his bones break, but they just heal back up right away.
Wolverine's got some badass powers.
Now, what is he? Is he a wolf? What is he?
No.
What is that?
He has the power to basically regenerate any kind of wounds like really fast. Like he can self-heal. And his self-healing is so powerful. Like he hardly ever ages. And then because of that self-healing power, the CIA, basically like a CIA, but the Canadian version, kidnapped him and put in all these like adamantium claws. It's metal that's indestructible. So now he's got like his bones are laced.
That's
with
stupid.
Indestructible
That's
metal.
Stupid. He's got claws. That's stupid.
No, they're adamantium claws.
What is that?
It's fictional.
It's the world's
metal,
strongest metal.
But yeah, well, it's not. It's the galactical strong metal.
What's he gonna work? Like a Benihana? I mean, is that how he assimilates?
I think that's what's in the new Wolverine movie. He's had a Benihana. Ninjas show up.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It's just a really bad day.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a Jedi. Was shocked. I'd never seen any of those. The only X-Men movie I ever saw was The First Class.
I hated him because I was a big fan of the comic books, and it just didn't live up to what I thought the comic book was. But on the reverse side, I love the Spider-Man movies, but people who like Spider-Man don't like them because, again, it's not what you liked when you were reading it as a kid.
Yeah, I wasn't reading. I never read comics as a kid.
And that's why Unbreakable is
But
your
why
favorite
didn't I?
superhero movie.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw every superhero film.
You just said you didn't see any of the X-Men.
Because those are like Johnny-come-latelys. I mean, I've seen the classics. I have a very strong working knowledge of the history of Superman, the history of the Avengers.
The X-Men debuted the same month as the Avengers.
Batman.
Dude, this
year is the 50th anniversary of both the X-Men and the Avengers.
I gotta say,
I just didn't read the comic books, but I watched the cartoons and stuff.
The greatest superhero now, the movie is the latest Avengers movie that they just came out with.
That was a pretty good movie.
That toppled every superhero movie.
You think that the latest Avengers?
It was like a comic book come to life, even though it was still its own kind of tale, but it was so like.
Here's what I didn't like about it. All right, and I've seen it like a dozen times because my kid loves it. Play it again. Ugh, okay.
Of course.
Yeah, over and
It's
over, man,
awesome.
all day long. And you know, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. He's partial to Iron Man, by the way. If my son could chime in right now, Iron Man. I don't think for the reasons that I respect. Like, I would go with Iron Man because he's just a really rich dude. He's smart and he's got all
Philanthropist,
kinds. Yeah, he's
Playboy
got, like,
billionaire.
and he's got cool toys and all that. So
Yeah.
I like that. But he doesn't really have any superpowers other than the ability to guess on the stock market well, or whatever he did to make all of his money. But yeah, he would pick Iron Man. The problem with the Avengers movie to me is that they
His
seemed,
dad designed weapons, by the way.
Is that how they?
that's
Yeah.
right.
The problem with the Avengers is that they've got all of these people because they wanted it to be like an all-star cast. So they got people like Scarlett Johansson in there because they want her name in there. And like Samuel L. Jackson, right? They got him in there. So those people suck. It's like, who's the guy? Who's the archer? I mean, there's like a couple of these people that are
Hawkeye.
in this movie.
Here's the thing.
Jeremy Renner, right? He's stupid. They just need Jeremy Renner, so they created this like
Hawkeye
half-assed.
was a big character in the Avengers.
But in the movie, he does nothing.
Yeah, he kind of did nothing in the comics. I mean, he had the stupidest powers.
Yeah.
But
Shoot an arrow.
it's amazing that they pulled it off from having all those movies come out. It's all Robert Downey Jr. If Robert Downey Jr. hadn't made Iron Man so successful, that entire plan would have fell apart.
Yeah.
If they could not have carried it with like the dude playing Captain America, he was great at it. It was an okay popcorn movie, but that alone, you couldn't base that entire crossover franchise with.
I like Thor. I like Thor.
It was an okay movie.
I like the movie
It wasn't,
Thor.
but it wasn't that Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, that smarmy, smug
He's
asshole
awesome.
kind of
He's
thing.
so awesome.
That's what brought it all together.
And that's how he is in the comic book, too.
Also,
so
the
it's
guy
cool.
playing
Like the superhero of Iron Man in real life is a cocky, stuck-up jerk.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
the guy they replaced Edward Norton with, Mark Ruffalo, to play Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I like that as the presentation of the whole, because Bruce Banner is supposed to be kind of neurotic and nerdy, and then the
like
Hulk
a
is
Woody
supposed to-
Allen type scientist.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they made him. And then another weird thing.
The Hulk sucks, by the way. He sucks. That's a terrible superpower to have.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get killed. They're just gonna blow you up with something. Because no city's gonna put up with that. He can't
They've
control
tried.
it.
They've tried. They tried to kill the Hulk. They could. They just made him.
They
angry.
killed him. And who's the other one? Who's from Michael Chiklis?
Oh, the Thing.
The Thing. Isn't that just a Hulk
Yeah.
knockoff?
No, well, the Hulk is way powerful than the Thing.
What is the Thing? What is his deal? How does he turn
He got
into the Thing?
radiation.
Yeah, they.
So
The
does he get mad and turn into?
he
No,
just
he's
looks
always
like
like that. He just looks
he
like a big
is?
scab. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it is different. He
Because
just
they
looks
were
like
the
Hulk.
Fantastic Four were astronauts, and they were flying through some space phenomenon, and it gave them all powers, and he got the shit end of the stick.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was a stupid.
You ever
one.
watch the Venture Brothers?
No.
It's a cartoon that kind of parodies comic book characters. They have their own version of the Fantastic Four, and the lead guy was played by Stephen Colbert. He was this amazing.
Really?
He was this amazing, scientist. He could stretch and do all that stuff. But all the other members of the Fantastic Four had these awful powers, like Miss Invisible. Her skin just turned invisible, and then you saw all her organs underneath.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. DeepLMOnAir.com.
Check out DeepElemOnAir.com for all of your exclusive rates, show times, and more. Everything you need to know about the local music scene for the Dallas-Fort Worth area can be found online. DeepElemOnAir.com.
There's a fork in the road in front of me, at the crossroads of identity. The devil is standing to the left. He says either way they both lead to death. And the high road's heady and steep, and the low road's easy and deep. Guess I'll fall my feet. Guess I'll fall my feet. I've a friend who lies and steals and cheats, always taking more than he can eat. He says to get what I want, I would probably kill if I don't take it. Somebody else will. And the high road's heady and steep, and the low road's easy and deep. Guess I'll fall my feet. Guess I'll fall my feet. There is no time falling behind. Plants on my knee, open the tree. I have a friend who loves humanity, braves bullets in war-torn countries. He traded a life of wealth to help the poor and ill. He says if I don't do it, nobody will. And the high road's heady and steep, and the low road's easy and deep. Guess I'll fall my feet. Guess I'll fall my feet. I don't know where, where my path will lead, but I'll fall on my feet, and I'll believe it'll keep me on the ground, and I'll keep walking to the sun. Fall down your feet. Fall down your feet.
HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, each and every Monday through Friday, noon to 2. Let's see here. We heard Reinventing Jude, and the song was
A good one.
a good one. And
It's a really good song.
that was Smelly Feet. What was that
No,
group?
Follow My Feet
Follow My Feet.
by Unlikely Candidates.
I like that one. I like both of them, but I was really listening to the second one.
Yeah, they've been in here several times. Big fans or friends of Loyal Sally.
Paco, are you here for a little bit, or you got to skate?
Yeah, I'm here for a little bit.
I can see.
I got my dirtbag lunch with me.
Yeah, you got your dirtbag lunch, which is a Paul boy. All right. Well, you work in a creative industry, so being a little loosey-goosey is good. I want to talk to you about Game of Thrones. Actually, I want to go off on you and your ilk.
Okay.
So do I need to walk out?
No, not now.
Oh, okay.
Because first we got to talk about this subject that just came up. That came up organically. We were talking about. Well, there's a new show on HBO, and it's called Vice. And Vice is something that has been going around online for a number of years now. They are documentary filmmakers.
It was originally Vice magazine.
Vice was it a magazine?
Yeah, it was a magazine, and
okay.
it started off kind of different, more just not as counterculture as it is now, but in the past decade or so, since that Shane Smith guy has taken over, they've gotten more into this, what they call provocateur journalism.
Sure.
Kind of derogatory towards it, but
Well, it's alternative journalism.
it's real journalism
it's
as far
real
as I'm
journalism.
concerned.
It is
'cause
the most real journalism. It's the kind of stuff that 60 Minutes was doing in the 1970s.
I've seen
And
this.
It's real stuff.
I've seen that Shane Smith guy almost die like 20 times.
Do you, folks, you don't know who Shane Smith is, and I'd love to try and talk to him. That would be a great interview. Do you know who Shane Smith is? He is the editor of Vice. He's the guy behind this whole thing.
No, I don't.
We are looking at and he's also the host of the TV show on HBO. We are looking at one of these people who, in 30 years, my son will be interviewing, treating him like, some great scion of new media. This guy is really a historical media figure in the making. And he is right now at that sort of jumping off point where Jan Wiener was in 1970 with Rolling Stone, or where Hugh Hefner was. I mean, this is a guy who is really doing something interesting in new media. And look, late to the party, but better late than never, HBO finally realized, hey, the best journalism, the best documentary filmmaking is being done on YouTube by these guys working out of a loft in Brooklyn. And HBO gave them a show. And thank God, because I think we're into third episode next week, or maybe this was the third episode, but every episode there has been a story that is a real serious story that I've never heard reported anywhere else. Never. Things that I had no idea was going on around the world that these guys are making a priority to report, and for whatever reason, we don't hear about it here. We're too busy dividing people between red and blue, right and left. We're too busy arguing about whether or not homos should be allowed to get married. Are you kidding me? There are real things happening in this world, and we are completely blind to it. Case in point, a story that they did, it sickened me. And this, all right, let me back up a little bit. So we've got the Chechen killers, bombers, terrorists, whatever you want to call them. We don't know what the link is. It looks like links are developing to some sleeper organization. I mean, it looks like Tamerlan, at least, was involved in some pretty messed up stuff. But we don't know yet. But we're back to this whole argument on Facebook about whether or not we should just bomb all the mudheads. Or whether or not let's just carpet bomb. People now, they want to carpet bomb Chechnya for
or the Czech Republic, depending on their reading comprehension.
I saw you posted that, and I shared that on my site. There was a whole Twitter thread of people irate at Czechoslovakia, just so angry, demanding answers from the Czech government.
There was one woman from Fort Worth who was like,
"Oh no,
there's a huge Czech, the terrorists were Czech and they're from West Texas," and someone's like, "No. They were from Chechnya," and she goes, "I know there's a huge Chechnyan population in West Texas."
Whenever I go to Austin, I stop at the Czech stop. That's where we go. We get munitions, fireworks, and pastry. Jeez. Okay, so people just indiscriminately wanting to wipe entire populations of people off the face of the earth. There's one guy on my site who's like a pastor. He wants to destroy the entire Middle East. He's supposed to be a man of God, and he wants to fry babies. Because see, I think that's not what people consider. We're all fucking John Wayne when it comes to lobbing missiles over at other countries. We don't ever want to be there for the mop up. We don't want to see come on. Nuclear weapons are the worst thing ever invented. And we just want to start hours after it was discovered that these guys were born in Chechnya. People wanted to lob nuclear warheads at Czechoslovakia. I mean, that's how crazy it is. These people obviously aren't thinking about what these weapons do to people.
And if that worked, wouldn't have Russia have done that by now?
Thank God. Thank God that, we've always had, especially during the Cold War, my entire coming-of-age youth was ruined by the specter of bombs dropping at any minute. I mean, it really was a different way that we lived. There was something scary going on. You guys are both too young to really remember that, right? I mean,
yeah. By the time I was old enough to really realize what was going on, the Berlin Wall fell, the Soviet Union collapsed.
But you didn't have drills in school, duck and cover drills and air raids. See,
we had tornado drills. That was about
no, we have those too. We have those too. Yeah. I mean, it was a terrible time. It was really a terrible time. And thankfully, over the course of history, the men in charge of our country and the men in charge of the Soviet Union at the very top seem to have an understanding of how horrible a nuclear war would be for everybody involved. So there was sort of, it was a checkmate. It really, possibly, maybe that's the way we ought to go back. Because the world
mutually assured destruction.
Mutually assured destruction, so that everybody's on their best behavior. So we're not running around like a bunch of dicks. The world exploded once we became the sole superpower. There was nobody keeping us in check. Yeah. All right, so there was a story on Vice, and they talked about Fallujah. Now, we all know Fallujah. That was one of the most heavily bombed and attacked places in Iraq. Heard a lot about problems in Fallujah during the war. So Vice does a story about what's going on in Fallujah now. We heard a whole bunch about it, when we were kicking the shit out of Fallujah.
And this was like, what, 6-7 years ago?
No, Fallujah was one of the last to fall, so it was a strong outpost for insurgents and stuff. So right up to the very end. So a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, probably. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to check. But you're right. As far as the story goes, it's probably important to know.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to, yeah.
I don't know. We could easily check that. So doctors, American doctors, Doctors Without Borders and all that stuff, as well as the Iraqi doctors that are still alive, they've been noticing they don't understand why people are coming in from this region with radiation poisoning. And they don't understand why all these babies are being born deformed. All these Fallujah kids are being born with body parts on the outside of their body instead of inside. Just horrible. Jedi, for a second, you accidentally clicked images.
Yeah, if you want to ruin your day, go ahead and Google search that.
Look at the picture of these Fallujah babies.
It's awful, man.
Not only that, but kids.
Ruined my Earth Day now.
Like, you saw messed up looking 4-year-old kids, right?
Yeah,
with
dude.
Noses on the side of their
hideous.
face.
It was so sad.
It's really sad.
It's awful.
That's an awful thing. When you're a kid and you're messed up. No, it's not fair. You know who handles that very well? The whole subject, because this is always, when I was in school, there was always one, like grade school and stuff, there's always one or two kids that have something that's really wrong with them. Mm-hmm. And at the time, they may scare you. If you're in 3rd grade and, the kid without a nose or something, it might scare you. You ever seen how Seth MacFarlane deals with that phenomena? It's just the kid with an upside down face. That's funny. And it's, of course, the news anchor's son. But I mean, because it's obvious, it's like a shared experience. You probably had a kid in your grammar school that was different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Terrible. So, yeah, we're creating a whole new breed of mutant-looking kids out of Fallujah.
And hold on 1 second. And if these kids turn up to, like, absolutely hate us, can you now blame them? I mean, look what's happened.
Well, there are people that ask the question, why do they hate us? And the answer that has been given is they hate us for our freedom. I think they hate us because we're killing their kids, because of other. I think there's more to it than just oversimplifying it and saying they hate us because of our freedom. We've got some pretty monstrous foreign policies. And we've created a lot of mutant babies over the years. I mean, it's too much to go into now, and I want to stay on this particular subject. But, there are people that hate our country for things that we do that we have no idea that we're doing it, which brings us back to what Vice does. Vice went to Fallujah, and they investigated this story of all of these mutant kids and why is there so much uranium? We didn't use any nukes. We didn't use tactical nukes. Why would there be all this radiation poisoning? Well, they uncovered that we, in fact, did use a type of nuclear weapon. Now, you know about this weapon. I'll let you tell me about.
I don't know about this new one. I know in the past that we've used depleted uranium in certain rounds.
Uranium bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, that's a lot different than what they're saying now, which is
because
enriched.
we don't admit to using those either.
That. But enriched uranium is completely different ballpark.
So here are these weapons that they demonstrated on Vice on HBO. These are weapons that we used in Fallujah. The first weapon is like a shell, and poof, they shoot the shell into the building, crashes through the roof of the building, and then there's a small explosion. Not a big bang for your buck, kind of blow the windows out, doors off the hinges explosion, but like a compression explosion. And what that first round does is sucks all of the oxygen out of the building, causing anyone who's in that building to have their lungs collapse almost instantly. That's followed by a second round. Goes in there. Another one of these explosions. Not big. We're not damaging the building. If any pesky media wants to take pictures of the accidental bombing of the nursery school, it's not going to look all damaged because all of it. So the second round goes. Remember, you've already had the air sucked out. Your lungs are gone. Second round. This one basically fries everything that's in that room. Like extreme heat. Like the room will go to 3,000 degrees immediately, reducing to cinders any organic carbon-based structure in the room, be it human, animal, anything. And these are the weapons that Vice uncovered could be behind the problem with the Fallujah kids. I had no idea that we used these kinds of weapons on people. I mean, in Vietnam, we used Agent Orange and we ruined a whole bunch of terrible, terrible chemicals that we used there. We're sorry, after seeing a generation of Cambodian kids with fins. We're sorry, we won't do that again. So now we don't use Agent Orange, but now we're using other weapons that rely on uranium? I don't know. Here's a story that I just Googled it and started looking into this. And it's a big story around the world. It is a big story in European newspapers. It's a big story in Middle Eastern newspapers, Asian newspapers. Whether or not the United States was using these radiation weapons in Fallujah is a huge story everywhere else in the world. Not one mention in the American media about it. You have to turn to Vice on HBO to actually see the story that the rest of the world is talking about. So when we say, why do they hate us? It's because we're not being informed. And we're allowing ourselves to be spoon-fed the information that they feel we can handle. So if we're not, same thing about, do you remember when the bodies were not being allowed to be shown? The returning soldiers, they said that, oh, that's disrespectful to show the bodies. No, it isn't. The American people needed to see the cost of war so that they sanitized it for us. They made it seem like something that isn't terrible. And now we're not being shown the destruction, the generations of people who live in Fallujah, who now have a nose growing out of the side of their face. The average American has no idea that we did this. It's unsettling.
Well, you know, the media in this country is it's in a couple people's hands. And it's large corporations that control the majority of it, not to just bash corporations, but
it is true. And why is it that when people say that, a lot of times they're just marginalized as wackos? There are far too many wacko conspiracy theories going on in this world, and it just really gets hard to figure out which ones aren't wacko conspiracy theories.
That's the problem.
That's one that isn't a wacko conspiracy theory.
You have the official line. And then once you go outside there and you don't have any filters, you don't have any editors, you can just say anything. It just becomes noise.
Yes.
It's all noise.
Well, I can tell you as someone who's worked in media for 20 years that there are only about 5 companies. There are really only about 5 companies. Everybody, whether you're a news anchor, a reporter, a newspaper writer, a radio talk show host, or a top 40 DJ, there are only about 4 or 5 companies that you can work for in the world. I mean, really, I know there's more than that. But if you want to work for a big company that really controls a good company to work for in your career, there's only about, really, of those kind, there's really only 3 in the world. Rupert Murdoch's one of them.
The only difference between, an organization like Vice and a person like Alex Jones is journalistic integrity.
That's the only difference. Yep.
They have the same resources.
Yep.
Except one's actually going out there and doing research, and the other's just spouting off craziness so he can sell water purification tablets and cash for gold.
Exactly. Alex Jones is trying to entertain. He's trying to entertain.
I think that's a weird definition of entertainment.
Well, but those kinds of news stories entertain people. We can't say they educate people because they don't.
No, they don't.
What they do is they entertain people.
They get the conspiracy boner going, I guess.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Anytime you have a story like this that we talk about that's not in the news, consistently, whenever I do pull it up, you know who I do find talking about it? RT. RT had a really good story.
RT, Al Jazeera, yeah, they all have it. See some English, The Guardian in England is all over this story. Here, let's look at this one. Let me just pull this up. This is how the rest of the world is reporting this. This is RT. This is not Pravda. Last week we read a very one-sided account of the Boston bombing in Pravda. What you have to understand about Russian media is that there is a free media, a media that was born after the fall of Soviet. Pravda is the long-standing state-run paper that is still in existence. So anything from Pravda, that's Russian propaganda. RT's a pretty real news service, and they say some awful stuff about American foreign policy, but it's true. It's how the people who are affected by our foreign policy feel, and how the hell can we discount that? We're in a very let them eat cake era of American existence.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the problem is it really is hard to tell the difference between someone going out there and doing legitimate journalism and someone just being a crackpot. Because there are people who want to believe everything is a government conspiracy, that no one would ever cause a terrorist attack, that only the government would do that, when that's obviously not true. They have an agenda of their own, which is the government's responsible for everything. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Everybody's got
everybody has an agenda, but again, it comes down to integrity. You've got to trust the agenda of those you believe to have integrity.
Alex Jones knows where it's going. It's New World Order. That's the end of the line for everything. He's trying to connect everything from that point.
Right.
Whereas with journalism, you're looking for the truth. You don't go out there with a presupposed idea. You gather facts. You do research, and you see where that leads you, as opposed to just some predetermined notion that the government's complacent.
But that's easy. That's simple. You don't have to think about it much. You can just chalk it all up to a world-dominated government that causes all the problems. The world is such a complicated place, and people get tired-head. They don't want to think about it, so they love people like Alex Jones who can spoon-feed them little summations of all their problems that they can believe. It's like religion. It's no different than religion. Religion, to a lot of people, explain the mysteries of the world. The unexplainable mysteries are where religion comes from. It's you got to have faith. I know you can't see, but you got to have faith. That's the same thing that these crackpots who follow Alex Jones and people like this, it's their new religion.
Can't argue with that.
Here, I want to play this. Pull this up. I don't know what this is. This is just a report. I was going to read the story, but there seems to be a news report. So this is how it's being reported in the rest of the world. See if we can.
The High Court in London is to hear a case over the use of uranium-enhanced weapons by US-led forces during the infamous Iraqi Battle of Fallujah back in 2005. This following a number of reports alleging their use was much more widespread than
and you know it's legit because he's got an English accent.
Originally thought. Well, let's now talk to Christopher Busby. He's the co-author of 2 such reports and a visiting professor at the School of Biomedical Studies, the University of Ulster. And Christopher, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Before we start, I would just like to give a warning that we will be showing some images during this interview that some viewers may find disturbing.
Okay, well, anyway, it's a real story that the rest of the world is talking about. I'm sorry, I just don't want to leave it up. I don't want to see these kids.
Yeah.
I don't want. I thought it ruined my Friday nights. When I saw it on Vice, I was like, oh man, they should have told me. So thankfully, this guy told me that these images are coming up, and I don't want to see them. But it is a real story. I mean, it's going to a court in London. But you would never hear that. You would never hear that American foreign policy is on trial in London.
No.
That's not going to be a story.
I mean, it
is everywhere else. Among the people who hate us for our freedom, this is a big story.
the entire idea of American exceptionalism is kind of a problem because it means we can do whatever we want because we're inherently better than everyone else. And so when we do things, it's like, well, if you even point that out, you have the Sarah Palin types out there who are like, I'm not going to apologize for America. Well, maybe we should apologize when we do shitty things.
Don't decent, civilized people apologize all the time? Could you imagine if you ran your personal life the way we're being asked to accept our foreign policy, where you don't apologize for anything? I mean,
but it's not.
We're not supposed to go over there and go, look, we're sorry for World War II and all that. But sometimes shit happens, and we should admit that there have been mistakes made in the past.
But there's not a running scorecard.
But we can't admit that.
Yeah, there's not a running scorecard where we're like, well, Russia did this or Saudi Arabia stones people. Or
right.
We can't always throw out the awful things the rest of the world does.
Deflecting.
To take it from us, because part of American exceptionalism is that we're supposed to be better. So we shouldn't do these things in the first place.
What does that mean? That gives me the heebie-jeebies. American exceptionalism? Doesn't that sound like Nazi propaganda? American exceptionalism. We are supposed to fill our heads with the idea that we are more exceptional than everyone else on the planet. And I don't believe that to be true. I believe that our nation is the greatest, most powerful, the biggest economic superpower, the biggest military superpower. That is all wonderful stuff that we as Americans can be proud that we built this to.
Well, we didn't build it.
Well, we didn't build it. You didn't build
my
that.
grandfather. My grandfather.
No,
generation.
But we did. We built something, man. We had a fantastic piece of property back there in the 1600s that they saw. They put us in charge of developing it, our forefathers, and they did a great job. America truly is one of the great success stories in the history of emerging civilizations. However, we're not that old. We've only been around for 200 years. Do you know how many dominant empires existed for 200-year stretches, for 300-year stretches? The Ottoman Empire. No, you bump into somebody on the street, they don't know what the Ottoman Empire is. It's the Turks and the Iranians and the Persians. It's all this big area of the world there. They dominated the world for a lot longer than we've been around. And now, here we are, 1,000 years later or whatever. Most people don't even know what the Ottoman Empire was. So this arrogance is going to be our downfall. I mean, what we need to be is we need to be cool. And I know that sounds like an oversimplification, and I always blame people for their solutions to these complicated problems as being way too oversimplified.
Yeah, that's kind of simplified.
Just be cool. But maybe if we were just, I don't know how better to explain it. I'm not articulate enough to be able to speak on foreign policy and all this stuff.
America's been through enough phases where there's been times where we tried to be cool. We tried to be cool with Hitler for a long time before.
Yeah, but that was before. That was, you know who we were as a country back then? 1950s Elvis. We were cool 1950s Elvis. So I mean, we didn't have the arrogance of 1970s Elvis.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of who we are now. We're the big fat bloated king of rock and roll yelling at guys in the kitchen about a club sandwich you ordered 20 minutes ago. That's who we are. And back in World War II, we were badass. We were young. We were rich. We were good looking. Everything was working for us. And then we hit middle age and bought a Corvette. I love this country. I don't want to live anywhere else. I don't think, although that is something.
I don't want this country to be great on the account of the rest of the world being a shithole, though.
Right.
Here.
Right.
Can't we share the wealth a little bit?
Well, now I don't know what you're talking about.
Or at least not share the wealth, but not like fuck shit up.
Here's the thing. People complain about all the aid that we give these foreign countries, but we get on paper to say that we're giving aid to these foreign countries. But certainly in the case of Africa, we're just paying off dictators. They're not giving that money and that food and all that stuff to the people, even though on paper, because it makes us feel good to see that, look, we're giving billions and billions of dollars to Robert Mugabe.
Yeah.
And he's feeding his people with that. Yeah, right. What we're not doing in foreign aid is putting troops on the ground loaded with food and grain and protecting these people from these crazy that we're not willing to do. But we'll just cut a check to some crazy dictator and say, you're going to give this to the people, right? And he's going to wink and go, uh-huh. That's our foreign policy. That's what we're giving. We are paying off bad guys with all of this money that we are supposed to be giving in foreign aid. But you can't hear that. No, we give billions and billions of dollars in foreign aid every year, and what do we get? Well, we're not following up on where that money's going. We're doing a real half-assed job. You know why? Because we don't want to follow up.
No.
We want that dude, that corrupt dude in power for as long as possible because we're afraid that village warlord is going to rise up and turn everybody communist. So we're okay with these horrible, brutal dictators as long as they wave the freedom flag and they're one of our little buddies in the march against communism. That's the problem. Poor people who have nothing think socialism and communism sounds like a good idea.
It sounds like a really good idea when you have nothing.
If you got nothing, yeah.
And half the world has nothing.
I don't know. This is not a conversation I wanted to have because I don't want to be all political. But again, this is another thing like the environment here on Earth Day. I don't see how our foreign aid dollars being looted is a partisan issue. I'm a fucking taxpayer. I would like to know that if I am feeding starving kids in Africa, that kids are getting fed, and they're not. And nobody cares about that either. Every once in a while, someone will march against Robert Mugabe or somebody when a diplomatic crew is in town, you know. Oh, the African delegation was, have people protesting, and those people are crazy. To the rest of us, those are just wackos.
Go back to work, get a job.
Yeah, get a job, loser.
What are you doing out during the day?
What are they talking about? What? They're saying that all of the money that we give the African people to help them is being stolen by this guy? They don't know that. Rush Limbaugh didn't talk about that. I've never heard about that on the news. If that was happening, Tom Brokaw would have told me. Losers, get a job. You know what I mean? That's the problem that we have. The fact that the 99% has now become a joke, like among people who are steeped in the 99%, they think it's a joke. Please, I'm one of the rich guys. Ugh. I don't know. I thought that there was obviously I'm referring to the Occupy Wall Street rising of a year or 2 years ago. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was awesome. And I think, what happened there? Well, they lose interest? Everything better now? Is everything better now? No. I think they were marginalized so much by not only conservative media, but the mainstream media, because what they were protesting was money. And that's the one thing all the big media companies have in common.
Yeah.
They all like the money.
The last thing I saw Occupy Wall Street was doing is, which is kind of cool. This was like probably 3 months ago. They were buying out people's debt. Y'all remember that story?
No. Maybe if I saw international news.
The money that they had donated to them, they used it to start buying out people's debt.
So they were helping people with that. See, I didn't hear that. The only Occupy Wall Street stories that I see are when someone gets accused of raping someone or when one of them is found with like a pound of weed.
Well, you should tune into Hungover with V, my friend, because we talk about it all the time.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into a little Game of Thrones thing. Plus, can't blame America for having one stiff collective cocktail over the week that we had. You see all the celebrity DUIs? my Lord, we had a bunch of celebrity DUIs over the weekend. Like I said, I can't blame them. It was a rough week. We'll talk about that as well. And we have to talk a little Game of Thrones. Jedi's going to probably have to leave, but we'll do that in a bit. Take a quick break. We'll come back. It's PMS HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on DeepElmOnAir.com.
Deep Ellum on Air, serving the DFW Metroplex. Only the best in underground and local music.
Cause me and music are one, you know, music is like my best friend.
Deep Ellum on Air.
seem like a minute when I'm buying time, trading lives. Hey, you wait, we're almost there, my friend. It makes no difference at all. They fell and heard the hush, my darling, will make millions on your sad demise. Understated what was broken just to throw it away again.
HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on DeepElemonair.com. Paco is with me, Clinton Paco Worth, Dallas Observer's Comic of the Year. I keep, whatever, best comic in Dallas, whatever.
Doesn't matter. As long as it points out that I'm better than everyone else, that's all I care about.
It does. Jedi is here.
Hey.
We're going to have to wrap this show up at some point fairly soon here. Jedi's got to go out and become one with nature.
Yes, I do. It's Earth Day.
A couple of things really quickly here. Anybody like Reese Witherspoon?
No.
Why not? I mean, why don't you? Well, what's not to like about her?
I think all her the movies she does are retarded.
Well, okay, but doesn't she herself come across as like a nice girl, like seemingly Oscar winner? She's an actress, America's sweetheart. She really does have that Goldie Hawn of the now, Meg Ryan-y kind of America's sweetheart thing. Paco, agree,
I can see
disagree?
That. Yeah, I can see
Honestly,
that.
You know who came to mind whenever you said her name? And now I'm looking at her picture over there. That's not. I thought Alicia Silverspoon. That's who I.
Well, first of all, it's Alicia Silverstone.
Okay.
There was a show called Silverspoon, and Alicia Silverstone hasn't been in a movie in 20 years.
That's who I thought about, because I got tricked into seeing one of that movie she did a long time ago.
Clueless?
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't Reese Witherspoon. No, Reese Witherspoon is Legally Blonde. The Johnny Cash movie Walk the Line. She played June Carter Cash and won the Oscar for Best Actress. She's a lot of stuff. She's adorable. There's nothing not the Election. Have you ever seen Election?
No.
Have you ever seen Election?
Election's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I think that was
that
like her breakthrough role. That's about a high school student council election. Jeez.
Then she did the one where she's like a blonde lawyer.
It's Legally Blonde.
That's her franchise. Oh, that's what made her America's sweetheart. The girl, isn't she a bumpkin from Alabama
Legally
or something?
Blonde, Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde.
Yeah, it's the franchise. Dude, but okay, look. What I'm saying is that she's a very well-liked actress. Whereas someone like Kim Kardashian, you'll get 50% of the people hate her, 50% of the people like her. Kim Kardashian, or Reese Witherspoon, until this incident, I would say was in the 90 percentile. Like 90% of people would probably go, "Oh, she's darling." Oh, that was kind of her thing. Apparently, she's a bitch. She's a Hollywood bitch who will, at the drop of a hat, say things like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?" Which is so out of character for what I would have thought Reese Witherspoon was.
She's an actress. Have you ever met an actress before?
Dude, I went to a college where the only girls that I could date were drama chicks. That's all they had there. Everyone else was weird. Like the only attractive girls, I'll put it that way, were in they are. I mean, I've dated actresses. I've dated, Oh, they're exhausting.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
Any
you're
of
right.
that. Any of that.
The worst. You know, I like to say that an actress is like the worst person to date. Second is a hairdresser. They're insane. You gotta.
What's the deal with hairdressers having some of the worst haircuts ever?
Well, it's because they change it up so much. It's because they're constantly tinkering because their hair is there. Look what I'm doing. Maybe they'll get a couple of their people to go, I want my hair like that. But unfortunately, yeah, it's always like fried.
It's like a half bowl cut, half fade.
It's always something weird.
Peroxide and Kool-Aid.
Hey, Hutch in the chat box said Kevin Smith has a famous beef with Reese Witherspoon.
Well, do explain. And why not call in? Tell us what the beef is.
469-759-6472.
Reese Witherspoon is deeply embarrassed about what she said to police officers after she and her husband were arrested during a traffic stop in Atlanta. The Oscar-winning actress released a statement late Sunday apologizing for her behavior that began when her husband, Hollywood agent Jim Toth, I'm sure he was easy to deal with, when Hollywood agent Jim Toth was arrested early Friday for driving under the influence. Do you know my name? Witherspoon is quoted as saying in a state trooper's report. She also said, you're about to find out who I am. You're about to be on national news. Well, yeah, because the whole country will be laughing at you, not the cop. Nobody's going to blame the cop. Maybe she thinks she's so popular that even in a DUI, the country will take her side. Do you know my name? You're about to find out who I am. You're about to be on the national news, according to the police report. Reese Witherspoon says in her apology, I clearly had one drink too many, and I'm deeply embarrassed about the things I said, Witherspoon said. It was definitely a scary situation, and I was frightened for my husband, but that is no excuse. Just imagine, really, Reese? You and your husband are about the whitest couple in America. Imagine being a black person. Think about how scared the black people are when the police pull them over. Reese Witherspoon is worried about police brutality. Get out of here. Are you kidding me? Although I saw the mugshot. I can see why the policeman wouldn't recognize her. She didn't look like Reese Witherspoon.
Did she have like black hair?
She had black hair.
Well, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So I got
What's the beef with Kevin Smith?
Yeah. So he was doing a speech at where was he? He's at some college, University of Pennsylvania, and he called Reese Witherspoon the C word. And so then later, a reporter asked him about it, and the 2001 article reveals that he gave her the moniker Greasy Reese because she snubbed his then girlfriend, Chasing Amy, Joey Lauren, when she was at a casting call for Mallrats.
Snubbed her. All right, so he's basically saying that Reese is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that, and that goes against type. That is not her image. Her image, her carefully created public image, is that she is the opposite of a bitch. She's the all-American girl next door. She's just so sweet, and yeah, it's good to know. Good to know she's that, because I take Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, he's got, why would he just randomly start making shit up about Reese Witherspoon? You know what I mean?
Dude, I mean, he called her the ultimate word, too.
Yeah, so that's big. It says here, Witherspoon said she can't comment further. Actually, here's the rest of her statement. The words I used that night definitely do not reflect who I am. I have nothing but respect for the police, and I'm very, very sorry for my behavior. Witherspoon said she can't comment further out of respect for the pending case, and her publicist Meredith O'Sullivan Wasson offered no further details. The 37-year-old actress was arrested on municipal charge of disorderly conduct Friday after a state trooper said she wouldn't stay in the car while her husband was given a field sobriety test. She was released from jail after the Friday morning arrest and was in New York on Sunday for the premiere of her new film, Mud. She posed for cameras on the red carpet but did not stop to talk to reporters. The trooper noticed the car driven by her husband wasn't staying in the lane, so he initiated a traffic stop. He reported that Toth, the husband, had droopy eyelids, watery, bloodshot eyes, and his breath smelled strongly of alcohol. Toth told reporters that he'd had a drink, which Witherspoon says was consumed at a restaurant 2 hours before the traffic stop. Before the field sobriety test began, Witherspoon got out of the car, was told to get back in, and obeyed, the report said. After the Walk the Line star got out a second time, the trooper said he warned her that she would be arrested if she left the car again. As the test continued, Miss Witherspoon began to hang out the car window and say that she did not believe that I was a real cop, a real police officer. You're not a real cop. You know who I am? Dick. You know, she's just being totally unmanageable. You're not even a real cop. Let's see here. She did not believe that I was a real police officer. I told Miss Witherspoon to sit on her butt and be quiet. Trooper First Class Jay Pyland writes. Toth, 42, was then placed under arrest. Damn page just refreshed right in the middle of a sentence. Why does it do that? Okay. Toth, 42, was then... Toth is her husband's name.
Cool name.
Well, it's a last name. Toth, 42, was then placed under arrest. He was charged with driving under the influence and failure to maintain the lane. That's great. That's how they pile on like 50 tickets for a DUI. It's like, isn't the DUI all encompassing? You know, isn't that why I was swerving? You give me another ticket for swerving? At that point, the report says Witherspoon got out of the car again and asked the trooper what was going on. After being told to return to the car, she stated that she was a U.S. citizen and that she was allowed to stand on American ground. Oh, no. I know my rights.
She's a sidewalk lawyer all of a sudden.
She is no better than the average rapscallion we see on Cops on Saturday night. I know my rights. News of the arrest broke shortly before Witherspoon arrived on the mud-red carpet. I can't say anything because I don't know, said director Jeff Nichols. I literally, the first guy on the press line said something to me. It's the first time that I've heard about it, so I got to go find out. Matthew McConaughey, who plays the lead role in Mud and is represented by Toth as well, said, I'm not going to comment on that because it's too fresh. All right. So there you go. Reese Witherspoon involved in a drunk driving incident this weekend. Not to be outdone, when there's two other ones.
I really like that name, Toth.
It's a last name, dude.
I really like it, though.
Get over it. It's a last name. All right, how about Al Michaels, not to be outdone? We all know Al Michaels.
Yeah.
Do you believe in miracles? Al Michaels' U-turn led to arrest and DUI allegations. So apparently, I'll just nutshell it for you because we don't need to go into this whole thing. Apparently, they got with these DUI check stops. You know, and Al Michaels was driving. He saw the DUI check ahead, and he did the worst possible thing you can do when you see a DUI checkpoint ahead. Flip the Yui.
Yep,
Flip the
they
Yui
chase you.
right in front of all of the cops. And apparently, there were cops like a block away at the intersection waiting. To catch people who were flipping Yuis. And that's how they
think
got
of
him.
everything.
Yeah, that's what they look for. They look for people to do that.
Of course they do. They ain't stupid. They've done this before. Hell, this is just getting sprung on you, drunk driver. They've been game planning for this. I mean, they're ready. They know. Let's see here. Famed NBC sportscaster Al Michaels was arrested on drunk driving allegations after making a U-turn next to a DUI sobriety checkpoint. That's just, you can't do that. You just can't. You look too suspicious.
Yeah. Wait, so who is it again? Because I was thinking now, I had my guys mixed up.
Al Michaels.
I was
Monday
thinking it
Night
was Al
Football.
Sharpton.
You are awesome.
Let me see.
You are awesome.
Go back up.
Al Michaels, ABC's Monday Night Football. Here, this guy. All right, here. Let's see. Fine. There's a video. We'll play the video. Fine. Here. Do you believe in it?
Really is an American dream.
After the commercial, of course, Al Michaels, Monday Night Football, most famous for the Miracle on Ice call, the U.S. Olympic hockey team.
I don't
Do you believe in miracles? What? What's wrong with you?
When was that?
Well, it was in like 1980.
I was like probably 5.
Yeah, but so was the Civil
My
War,
bad.
but you know that happened.
Yeah, I know about the Civil War.
All right, put this up.
68-year-old Michaels was arrested at a DUI checkpoint. Police said he made an illegal U-turn, very likely to avoid the checkpoint.
Yeah.
Officers spoke to him. They said they smelled alcohol in his breath. They gave him a field sobriety test. Alcohol level was reportedly slightly over the legal limit. Michaels hosted Monday Night Football for 20 years, moved to NBC in 2007.
All right. See, no, he's like, I don't know if there's a bigger sports guy in America, and you really don't know who
if
he
I
is?
saw him walking down the street, I would have no idea who he is. They don't really show the announcers that much, do they?
Well, if you watch sports, yeah, they're on camera at the beginning, they're on camera at halftime. Throughout the game, they'll go to the booth. Here. Paco, you got anything you want to talk about?
How do you not know who Al Michaels is?
I just don't really watch football.
I guess. I don't know. He's...
But okay, so you you don't know what the Miracle on Ice was?
No.
That is so crazy to me.
I mean, it sounds vaguely familiar.
This is insane.
Is that Tanya Harding?
No.
Nancy Kerrigan thing?
The Miracle on Ice was the 1980 Winter Olympics.
Okay.
When a team... Dude, you got to watch this documentary. This is like...
Oh, is that the hockey thing?
Yes,
yeah,
the hockey thing.
Right.
The hockey thing.
They also made a movie with Kurt Russell as the coach.
Rated... Yeah. Love that movie.
It was just called Miracle.
They beat like Russia or something, right?
Yeah, like Russia or something. The Soviet Union. Here we go. Bring this up. A hockey game is something. I mean, this was the Cold War playing out on a hockey rink.
All right, dude, I was watching Sesame Street at the time.
I don't think you were born yet.
But, yeah, you probably weren't even born yet, but it's still like it's history. I mean,
oh yeah, I wasn't even born yet. 1980.
I have seen Babe Ruth hit baseballs, and I wasn't born then. I mean, there are things. It's history.
My favorite episode of the X-Files, which is the musings of the cigarette smoking man, where they explain his entire life. He poisoned the Russian goaltender so that America could win.
Yeah, the Russian goal. Here's what you need to understand. This is basically the plot line of this story and why it's so amazing. These were 19-year-old American college students. This was an American college all-star hockey team. They were playing against the Soviet team, which the average age was like 28. They were all professional hockey players in the Soviet, grown-ass men, the best hockey players on the planet. Their record was something like 95-2 or something ridiculous. We were just a bunch of stupid hockey, high school and college kids that weren't even supposed to do anything, and we beat the Russians. This was at the time of the Cold War when we had, in 1980, in 1980, we boycotted the Olympics in Moscow, and then in 84, they boycotted the Olympics in Los Angeles. It was a mess. So we weren't really able to compete or do anything against the Soviets anywhere. All we were supposed to do is just be afraid of them. So, I mean, this was like a culmination of and we won. We won against all odds. We were super underdogs.
And then the Berlin Wall fell.
Yeah, honestly, the only reason I do kind of remember it is because wasn't there a couple of years ago, we had a Miracle on Ice 2 or the last Olympics we were up against the Russians?
Until
I know there was a lot of references.
They will try and co-opt the Miracle on Ice, but nothing has ever come. It's the single greatest American sports moment. I mean, it's bigger than anything else. It's always number one on any kind of, list that they do. The Miracle on Ice. It's timeless. It's classic American. I was watching a thing. It was National Geographic Channel did this special called The 80s. It was like a 4-part documentary series. It was done really well. And in one of them, they talked about during the Cold War. It was a whole special on the Cold War and how crazy things were. And they did a special on this game. And they talked to Jim Craig and Mike Eruzione, the players who you probably never heard of before, American heroes.
No.
And the Russians took them so lightly that they played the Russians a couple of nights before the Olympics started in a warm-up game in Madison Square Garden and got smoked by not even the real Russian team. that warm-up game was played by Russian military guys. That's how lightly they took the American college kids. And the Russian military guys won, they won like 4-0 or something. I mean, they smoked our team. And Jim Craig, who was the goalie, said, and this was on the National Geographic, one of the guys was skating with a gun because he was KGB, and they were afraid that some of the top Russian players were going to defect in the middle of a game. So there was actually, among the Russian players, a KGB guy with a gun that if, at some point one of the Russian players in Lake Placid, New York, stopped at center ice and said, I want to be an American, there was a guy on his team who was a KGB agent who would immediately take it. I mean, that's how crazy it was. So, yeah, Miracle on Ice. Al Michaels got a DUI. He'll always be remembered as the Miracle on Ice guy. All right. And finally, quickly, a couple of notes on Tamerlan. Tamerlan Zidnaev, I'm not even sure how we pronounce this name now. Dohar is in the hospital. He is
Jakar.
What is it now?
Jakar.
Jakar?
Jakar.
Okay. Jakar, who is in the hospital now. He's able to communicate, but his throat is slashed or his throat is shot. What are you hearing? I'm hearing so many conflicting details.
I heard he got shot in the neck during the initial.
By himself, or because they think he might try to commit suicide?
I haven't heard that, but I've heard that's a weird way to kill yourself. But I heard it was in the initial gunfight on
the night before
Thursday. Yeah.
So this guy played a steroid version of hide and seek for almost 24 hours with a bullet in his neck. I mean, my God. Maybe that's that adrenaline pumping, Well, his aunt, it's starting to look like Tamerlan, the older brother, was the radical. And that Dohar, what is it, Jokar? Jakar is like a...
Isn't that a cologne?
Just trying to impress just trying to impress his Bubba.
His big brother?
Yeah.
But they want to know who this guy is because the family themselves, they're not Muslim. They are historically, but they don't go to mosque. They're not crazy Muslims. And a couple of years ago, Tamerlan started hanging around with some guy, and they think that he was radicalized by some guy that he met at this mosque. But Tamerlan himself got kicked out of the mosque. He got banned from it 4 months ago for going on some rant about Martin Luther King. And so they said, no, we don't need you here. So now they want to know who, Uncle whatever. Ruslan, yeah, who I love. He's been talking more now. He's sorry. He didn't mean to call them losers. He's sorry. He was all caught up in the moment. But he said that when Tamerlan came to him and said that he was doing the work of God, that was going to be his path, Uncle Ruslan thought, all right, at least we don't have to worry about drugs or violence, because that's what they were worried about. They thought that, they would fall into a bad crowd. He's like, well, at least, he's going to be a good, pious, religious man. He had no idea that he was going, like, fanatical, like crazy.
Sorry to interrupt, but somewhat breaking. Have you heard about the Canada thwarts plot to blow up U.S.-Canada rail line?
No, is this breaking now?
Yeah, it's kind of breaking. There's I have a live press conference. Pull it up.
Ted Nugent wants a public hanging.
Of course he does.
Rapidement et de manière efficace. Cette enquête témoigne.
Well, dude, it's Canadian. They're speaking in French Canadian, which I think is just French.
Did you hear the other story about Tamerlan? They're trying to connect him to a murder. A triple murder from a couple years ago.
His best friend, his only American friend, they say.
Yeah.
He's found with his throat slashed in an apartment.
And then he sprinkled weed on him afterwards.
Cool. Cool.
To make it look drug-related, I guess. This is because they were saying if it was drug-related, why would they leave the weed and the money there? Because they found thousands of dollars in a pound of weed.
The details on this are crazy. This, I don't know what's going on with that. Everybody is an expert now about the law. I don't know what they're going to do.
I might say when it's happening and you can watch it on TV, I'll follow along. But at this point, I think there's nothing you can do but sit back.
Just wait and see what happens. Has he been read his rights yet and all that stuff? Because they didn't read him as Miranda rights.
We got to read him as Miranda rights. Why is that so difficult?
Well, they say that
he's going to remain silent. He has a bullet in his throat.
Right. Yeah. But they claimed that it was for the best interest of the community for them to not have him have a lawyer right now. as if to say that maybe there's more bombs, and he's got information that is right now pressing. So you're only supposed to get like 48 hours or something without your rights under this community danger.
I think
clause.
I'd hate to be the guy who goes, we're safe, and then there's another bomb.
Yeah.
There's other people, but this is still America.
Yeah.
We got to play by the rules. Even if these assholes don't, we got to.
Ted Nugent.
That's why we're better than everyone else.
Right-wing rocker Ted Nugent has taken to his column to call for the public hanging of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Because that's what we are. We're freaking Middle Ages now.
Yeah.
We're just going to drag people through the streets.
Fucking Ted Nugent.
God. Seriously. How ridiculous. But, I don't even think, well, I don't know. I was going to say, if he was king of the world, would he have that? But yeah, he probably would, I guess. That's how he is. He's just crazy. Can't hang people in public.
Public executions are barbaric. They do it in these countries that he fucking hates.
Yes, yes.
That's why you're not supposed to like Islamic republics, because they stone women in the middle of a soccer field or shoot them with AK-47s. It's not humane. It's not. You shouldn't want to see a person die.
It's not civilized. We're supposed to be a civilized society, moving together as one.
No matter
into this
what
next chapter of humanity.
No matter what a person did, you shouldn't want to watch them die.
No. Yeah.
You shouldn't want them to die in the first place.
If you're okay with watching someone die, if that's your idea of a good time, you are jacked up. You are a messed up person.
I thought it was interesting all the Catholic
Unless they're,
churches,
raping your mom or something, then I'll watch that guy die.
Some of the Catholic churches in Boston came out praying for the suspect. I thought that was
all right.
That's
merciful.
It's a step in the right direction.
Merciful. He ain't going anywhere. It's not like he's going to get out in 10 years. This guy will never get out of prison. What are they kill? I don't even know. Can they kill him? I don't think there's death penalty in Massachusetts.
It is because they are. It's going to be a federal thing.
Yeah, charging
and it will be weapons of mass destruction. That will be the one that carries the death penalty.
So, good. Let them take care of it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It was.
I don't think this kid has anything. I don't think this kid knows anything.
No, he's an idiot.
Did you hear about how Tamerlan went down? He came out of the car. You know they were in two cars. Tamerlan and Dzhokhar were in a police chase. Police were chasing two cars.
Mm-hmm.
They were in two cars going side by side at this point, and they stopped in this area in Charlestown where the shootout started. And sort of Tamerlan's car was first between the police and Dzhokhar's car. So Tamerlan got out and he started firing, and apparently he ran out of bullets and he charged at a cop. Now remember, he was supposedly wearing an explosive vest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't go off. I mean, I
thought it did. I saw the picture.
Maybe it went off and it didn't work and it blew him up.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. But he ran and he tackled cops, and as cops were putting handcuffs on him while he laid on the ground, is when the cops had to run away from him because Dzhokhar ran him over, right in the street while the cops were putting cuffs on him.
Because I saw, I don't know, maybe that was a picture of him, or maybe they just found one, but he had a big
I saw a
gash
big,
in the side of
that,
the
but that also
ribs,
could have
and
been
then-
from having a car tire.
And then the burns on the face, and ugh.
Well, I don't know.
Didn't need to see that.
But yeah, he ran out of bullets, and then he ran towards the cops, and they tackled him. He didn't kill any cops. It wasn't like a suicide vest that killed a bunch of cops. So whatever. But
as far as charging him with weapons of mass destruction just to get the death penalty, the whole pressure cooker bomb seems like a souped up pipe bomb.
they said they threw 3. They had 3 in the cars that were thrown at cops during the police chase. Pressure cooker bombs. Some people reported it as grenades, but no, the Boston system, no, they didn't have grenades. They had these homemade pressure cooker bombs, and they had a bunch of them. And they were throwing them, they were lobbing them out the window of the car at police cars that were chasing them. Madness. That is crazy shit. I've never seen a movie with that level of crazy shit.
I mean, a lot of what they did kind of reflects at how just dumb they are.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I think that unfortunately, the one that could provide all the answers, he's dead.
Yeah.
I don't know that this 19-year-old kid is going to know anything, but see you later, kid. You got to die anyway, if that's what the federal law calls for. See ya. Now, what I'm interested in is, I'm interested in the wife. What does this chick know? Probably nothing, because in Muslim culture, the woman knows nothing. But, Tamerlan's got a wife
Really?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No, I hadn't
He's got a
heard
wife
that.
and 3 kids. I've heard reports as many as 3 kids.
Jesus.
He's got one with the wife that lives in Providence, and he would spend every weekend with her family. Her father is a doctor, and her mother is like some kind of pharmacist or something. And they have this really nice suburban all-American existence. Their beautiful blonde daughter marries this Tamerlan guy. They have a baby together. Tamerlan moves in. He lives every weekend, every Friday through Sunday. He lives at that house with them. She converted to Islam. This pretty all-American girl with the doctor father. She's a rich girl. She's obviously a rich girl who got hooked up with a bad boy. And her parents were so progressive. They're like, no, totally cool. You can, she's trying to get a rise out of them, and their idiot hippie parents. No, seriously, she changed to. They showed her getting out of a car and running into her house, and she was wearing full-on Muslim headdresses and scarves, and she was completely covered. That's crazy. And then there's another picture of her with him. They're working out together in a gym, and he's wrapping her hands, to spar. And she's a hot blonde. She's hot. She's a hot blonde chick. And he was her MMA boyfriend, and she became a Muslim. She converted for him.
This is the world we live in,
That's
Pugs.
crazy. And the parents, they're like, oh, obviously he wasn't the guy we thought he was. Everybody that knew this guy said he was a dick. Nobody, the kid, Jokar, was like the most popular kid in school. Everybody loved him. The 19-year-old, the one that's still alive, everybody loved him. No one can believe this. He was the all-American teenager. But then his brother, you hear people talk about his brother. He was a dick. He was kicked out of his mosque. Those people didn't even want him. People that worked out with him said that, he was just so fucking serious all the time. He had no sense of humor. People didn't really enjoy his company because he was kind of always preachy about shit. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get anything from this kid.
So what happens when you don't drink?
All right, yeah.
He's angry all the time.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the kid that's in the hospital was drunk when, he'd come from a party when they went to rob the 7-Eleven, they said. Or whatever the 7-Eleven thing was. He's got weed. All his buddies are talking, no, man, he smoked weed. He liked rock. Played soccer, went to parties. Was good at beer games. All of these things are coming out about, he had chicks dug him. Like, all these chicks were, like, totally into him. He was a ladies' man. I put up a picture of him on my Facebook page, and it's almost like a glamour shot. It looks like an Abercrombie model. Mm-hmm. And you realize that some of the girls put stuff like, ooh, pouty lips.
No.
He's a good-looking kid, though. He is. I don't understand why. He seemed like he had the whole... He was smart. He was in college. He
Not
had
that
friends.
smart.
Well, no, they say that he was... Well, yeah, obviously that. But they say that, like, as far as, like, he was an intellectual kid. Like, he could have... He wasn't a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
He just got here 10 years ago, and he probably knew about the Miracle on Ice. That's all I'm saying. So there's that. All right, and let's wrap up today's show. We'll finish it. Paco came all this way. You Game of Thrones, I read the book nerds are killing me. Hold on, we have to go to theme right away. Hold on, we can talk about this for a second before we go to theme. Okay. He wants to go out and become one with the
I
earth.
I gotta go. It's almost 3 o'clock.
All right, we'll be off by 3. How's that? Yeah. All right. So, Game of Thrones last night. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the episode?
It was an amazing episode.
Where's the Game of Thrones music?
I think
I'm getting it and getting out of here.
I know we're killing him now because all he wants to do is run around, smoke weed, and climb mountains.
Well, also he doesn't want Game of Thrones.
Allegedly.
He doesn't want Game of Thrones ruined for him either.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. That's why he's getting out of here. All right, so he's going to put up the Game of Thrones song. Folks, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert, because there are people in the chat box that are agreeing with me. They haven't seen it. So.
Well, you know what? You guys suck because it comes out on Sunday nights. It's not my fault. If you want to do a review of a popular show, we're going to do it the day after it airs. All right, so Paco, last night's Game of Thrones.
One of the best episodes yet.
Hell yeah, it was.
It had an amazing ending. It's the kind of stuff you want for in this fantasy, war-torn world.
Now, I haven't read the books, and you have, so I can't imagine how you could enjoy it as much as I do.
Well, here's the thing. Here's something they did different from the books. In the books, it's all point of view of a character each chapter. Daenerys Targaryen is one of the point of view characters. So in the book, you know that she knows what the slave master is saying. A TV show, you don't know that till the end.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
I
that
could
cool
tell.
reveal.
I
Yeah.
even said that last week. I go, she doesn't need an interpreter. She can't be burned. She can walk into fire, okay? Fire doesn't burn her skin. She's got special skills. I don't think a guy insulting her through a translator is going to get past her. She's going to figure that out.
No.
However, I did have some friends who were like, she can't give up the dragon. Why would she give a dragon up for an army? She's the mother. She's like giving up her child.
I don't think she can give a dragon. The dragon wouldn't stay with him.
Exactly. See, that's what she has over everybody else. Everybody else thinks they can own and tame a dragon. She's the mother of dragons. She respects the dragons, and that's why the dragons love her. And that's why the dragons would never hurt her. So this guy goes, give me a dragon. So she's like, all right, you want a dragon? You give me like 100,000 men? I'll give you a dragon. I want the biggest one. No problem. You can have the biggest one. So she gives the slave master the dragon. And that was such a cool scene.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to think, if you just gave a dragon to somebody, how would that... break that down. How would a truck pull up? What would he be in a cage? It's a dragon. He breathes fire. So she pulls this tarp off this little cage, and it's like a bird cage. And there's a teenage dragon, not fully grown yet, but about a teenager, maybe 12, 12-ish, prepubescent, just about to crash into puberty. And she reveals this draping, opens the cage, and this dragon flaps its wings and just flies up above Daenerys, and it's just kind of looking at the slave master. And Daenerys has a leash, like a dog leash. It's like on her hand, and it's attached to the foot of the dragon. And the dragon is flying like a kite. And so she hands the dragon leash over to the slave master. And as soon as she did that, I go, well, now what's he gonna do? Now he's got a dragon. And here's what we know about dragons. Dragons hate everybody except Daenerys. Why would you even want a dragon?
Yeah.
You can't defeat a dragon, Mr. Slave Master. So he's having some fun. You know, he's like, this is kind of cool, in his little slave master words. But then what happens? Well, like when he starts to realize that he can't really control the dragon.
And the whole time she's like, hey, so all these slaves are mine, right? And he's like, yeah, you have the whip. They listen to you now. And she's like, okay. And then she tells the dragon to smoke him.
Yeah. And the dragon just looks down at it. Like, so the slave master's holding the dragon on this leash, like kind of struggling. Like, okay, it's going to be harder to control this dragon. And the dragon just looks at him and just breathes fire from hell. Just down, rains it upon this guy. And he completely... awesome. I mean, that was so badass. I couldn't... Can we please... Hey, do you like my idea of doing a spin-off, a Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of spin-off, where we just follow Daenerys through her dealing
and
with
the creepy
slave.
old men that seem to follow her around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not only is she a catch, she could be ugly, and she'd still be a catch.
Yeah.
Because she's, she's the mother of dragons. But she's hot. So, yeah, she'd always be getting hit on by, like, eunuchs and stuff. Crazy. It was amazing. Okay, so I want more of that storyline. And it's almost like they know that's such a cool storyline, so they save it the last 2 weeks in a row. It has been the final. Well, actually, last week was the cutting off of Jaime's head. But it's always right at the very end. Like, I got to wait 45 minutes before they check in with the Daenerys.
Any other week, the whole rebellion of the Night's Watch would have been the big ending.
Yeah.
Because it's been brewing for a while, but
I don't really care about that storyline. I mean, I know it's going to make sense and all that, but right now it's...
The Night's Watch has no leader.
There really is
White Walkers are coming.
Well, but isn't that going to be Jon Snow? Isn't he going to be the leader? I would assume that he would ascend.
Well, he's with the Wildlings right now.
Oh, yeah, but he'll get back to them, won't he? I mean, didn't he keep an eye on them with his dog?
Do you want me...
Yeah, see, I don't know, man. This is what I hate about you book readers. You people who have read the book, you already know. All right, well...
So I'm trying not to spoil anything. That's my main thing.
Let's move on. My favorite subplot, the Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen, Mother of Dragons. I love that. Jaime Lannister. Sucks to be a Lannister.
Yeah.
Probably never said that before. The Lannisters are like the... what would they be? The Kennedys or whatever, the Bushes of this mythical kingdom.
Yeah.
Jaime Lannister, the eldest born son, the prince, Mr. Can Do No Wrong, good looking, popular. He's like a pop star of that era.
He's also one of the deadliest men in the world with a sword.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
because they took his sword hand. They
Yep.
just cut it off.
He lost all of his identity.
This guy, he went from being the embodiment of the knight in shining armor, the blonde with the impeccable armor, just shiny, to being this like, he's got one hand now. He's like, he's wrapped up in ropes on the back of a horse that's being led by this band of miscreants or whatever. Who are these people? Who are the people that have Jaime Lannister in custody?
It's a group of men that were loyal to Ned Stark and to the North.
Okay.
So they're Northerners that are going to try to ransom off Jaime Lannister. When Catelyn Stark let them go, they went and recaptured him to bring him back to Robb Stark.
Oh, okay. So they are good guys. Are they who Arya is with?
They're
or
not.
is she with?
No. That's the Brotherhood without banners.
Okay,
But
so that's not them.
no, these are just scumbag lords of the North that are trying to cash in by bringing Jaime Lannister back to Robb.
Okay,
Stark.
so they're not
because
necessarily-
Robb was pissed at his mom for letting him go.
Right. So they're not necessarily good or bad.
No.
But what about the men without banners? They seem like they're good.
They're good. They are members of the religion that the crazy lady that Stannis Baratheon is with. They're part of that. The R'hllor.
The Red Witch?
Because there's different religions
Right.
in the realms. You have the 7 gods that all the people in King's Landing worship, and then you have the old gods that Ned Stark's people worship.
He's already got like his biking gloves on. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's go to the close. Yeah, it was an absolutely kick-ass episode last night.
And
of
you know
Game of
what?
Thrones.
This season's going to get nothing but better. There's
Yeah?
some really cool shit coming down.
How many episodes do we have left? Because if we're at a point where there's like 4 episodes left, I mean, there's going to be like 10 episodes left, right? We're still...
I think there's like 6 or 7 left.
Okay, all right.
Episode
all right.
9 is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy bananas, just like it's been the last 2 years with the Battle of Blackwater and Ned Stark getting his head cut off.
All right, Game
This
of
is going to be the
Thrones.
most fucked up one yet.
Got Game of Thrones. Oh, it's so good. Makes Sundays bearable. Do you know that I go from Celebrity Apprentice right into Game of Thrones?
That's a weird transition.
It is. I'm a weird guy.
What do you do? Put a little ginger on the tongue, like sushi?
Yeah. No, I watch a little C-SPAN for about
Okay.
10 minutes just to cleanse the palate.
Scrub the brain.
Yeah, just cleanse the palate. All right, that's it. HireAHero.org presents PMS The Pugs Moran Show. Also, our fine sponsor.
Yeah, speaking of our fine sponsors. So, Brad from the Glass House shot me a little text.
Oh, okay.
Their 420 event was awesome, by the way. But
I thought we were going to try and talk to him.
yeah, I think he might be a little shy. But
Okay.
anyway, so they have a big sales event going on till Wednesday where they have like half price on a bunch of discounts and stuff. So-
Half price up at the Glass.
Yep, up at the Glass House, both locations.
Louisville and Dallas.
You got it.
What's the website?
TheGlassHouseTX.com.
All right. Also, thank you so much to Stratos, who Joanne and I, we're planning an event. We just need to get together for this. Stratos, ClubStratos.com, Greek food, just the best. The best Greek food in all of Dallas. I love it so much.
I don't know any other Greek restaurants in Dallas.
Of
Of repute.
There's another good place up in Plano, and I can't think of the name, and I like them for gyro, but I haven't had any actual Greek food. But like I love moussaka, which is a Greek, it's like a Greek comfort food almost. And they've got, it is so good. And I love the octopus that they got at
I gotta
Club
try that
Stratos.
octopus. I love octopus.
Stratos, by the way, it's like a whole entertainment venue. You go in, you get your food. Some nights they have belly dancers, some nights they have entertainment. Go check out the website. Find out exactly when the best night for you to go and have a real unique and original night out in Dallas. ClubStratos.com. Located, hey, if you just want to roll the dice and show up, they're located at Webb Chapel and Northwest Highway, conveniently, right there, right in the middle of all things that go on in Dallas. That's Stratos, ClubStratos.com, Webb Chapel and Northwest Highway. Okay, so that's going to do it for us.
Got it.
I guess. Joanne's going to come up here one of these days this week. I don't know, we keep missing it. She was supposed to come up last Friday, but remember I stayed up all night and I was like bleary-eyed and completely messed up.
Speaking of, you know who else I got coming in this week? John Jay, the owner of the Freeman. He's going to come in and sit down with us. He's a very interesting guy, all about conspiracies and stuff.
All right,
Really?
all right. And he's
Yeah.
got a great bar.
Yeah, he does.
So, yeah.
I enjoy the
so
Freeman.
let's talk to him.
Over off of Commerce Street in Deep
Yeah,
Ellum.
fantastic bar. That's like one of those cool Dallas bars.
Yeah.
That isn't like a douchebag uptown bar. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow for Jedi Jansen. I am Pugs. And go ahead.
For
whatever. I don't even know how that works anymore. All right. HireAHero.org presents PMS on DeepElemOnAir.com.
Deep Ellum on air. Only the best in local music.
Do it live!
From DFW and beyond. Deep Ellum on air.